We interrupt our regularly scheduled program for this special presentation of Inter Miami Soccer on ESPN 106.3. The pink smoke is in the air. Inter Miami Soccer is on ESPN 106.3.
Oh, it's a cannon shot! Go ahead and give him the goal of the league!
This is the Inter Miami pregame show, live from the ESPN West Palm Studios. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Herons and Minnesota United coming your way here in just a little over a half hour. Welcome on in, folks, to the Inter Miami pregame show. We are powered by our local South Florida Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. Test drive that brand new Q6 e-tron today and pull into that lot at Chase Stadium in style. Well, the Herons on the table, fourth overall in that Eastern Conference. They are sitting with 21 points. They do have a game in hand, but we're going to be caught up on games. Inter Miami is going to be playing two MLS fixtures coming up next week. They're going to be playing Wednesday and Saturday. So starting today, 3 games in 8 days. 3 games in 8 days. It's May the 10th. By May the 18th, we will be on game number 3. So I'm interested to see how Javier Mascherano is going to manage lineups. And speaking of lineups, we do have starting 11s on both sides for Inter Miami and Minnesota United. Let's start with our Herons here first. Get something out of the way here quickly. No Fafa Pico. Fafa Pico will not be available. It is because of a migraine. So Fafa Pico dealing with a migraine, not available off the bench or in the starting 11. So no Fafa Pico in this game. He's got 2 straight MLS goals heading into this week, but he will not get his third in 3 games because Fafa is dealing with a migraine. Let's start in the back and work our way to the front. No surprises with Oscar Ustari starting between the posts. I'm starting to believe if Oscar is healthy and available, Javier Mascherano is going to put him in that starting 11. So Ustari between the posts. As far as your center backs, you got Gonzalo Luan and Noah Allen, Jordi Alba as a left wing back, and Marcelo Wigan, your right wing back. And I do want to note it is a 4-2-3-1 tonight. A 4-2-3-1. That is confirmed from the obviously from Inter Miami and the lineup sheet that I am looking at. So a 4-2-3-1. If we remember, Javier Mascherano had that 4-4-2 last game. This is a 4-2-3-1. With that out of the way, again, Ustari, Luan, Alba, Allen, and Wigan. Those are your 5 counting Ustari, but your 4 in the back. And then your midfielders. You got Sergio Busquets. You got Telesco Segovia. You got Benjamin Kremoski. They're calling Sergio Busquets an attacking mid tonight. I'm assuming he's going to be deadly with those long passes. Sergio, very technical with his passing, so I'm assuming they're going to be relying on his savviness in that midfield to get some goal chances. Yannick Bright, a defensive mid tonight, and Federico Redondo, a defensive mid, and Lionel Messi is playing number 9 tonight. You heard that right. Lionel Messi sitting at striker. So a bit of a change of pace, I'd say, within the lineup with a 4-2-3-1. Once again, Luan, Alba, Allen, Wigan, Busquets, Segovia, Kremoski, Bright, Redondo, and Lionel Messi captaining tonight and playing that striking position. Let's get to our substitutes. You got Toto Aviles, Hector Martinez, Ian Frey, Dario Allende, Leo Afonso, Alan Abando, Rocco Rios Novo, Maxi Falcone, and Santiago Morales. So those are your substitutes coming off of the bench for Inter Miami. Let's move on to Minnesota. Minnesota United, second on that Western Conference table. If we're calling a spade here, Vancouver's been a surprise being first on the table so far this year. I think Minnesota United, a quality team. I'm not taking anything away from Minnesota. I think it's a bit of a surprise, in my opinion, to see them number 2 on that MLS Western Conference table so far this year. But let's start with their back line. They're going to go with a 5-2-3. They're going to go with a 5-2-3, so 5 at the back. They're playing 5 at the back. And folks, this is not EAFC. This isn't FIFA. This isn't a rat formation, as I would say if I saw someone running 5 at the back. But this is real-life football. Minnesota United, very good team this year. They run 5 at the back. Now, the goalie, Dane St. Clair. He will be between the posts for Minnesota United. Let's get to the 5 defenders. At center back, you got Nicholas Romero. At left wing back, you got Anthony Markanich. At center back, you got Michael Boxall, and he will be the captain for today's fixture. And I know Ken Levica is sitting in the studio laughing at me as I try to pronounce this. Bongakule Hugiwani. He is going to be the right wing back coming up today. Jefferson Diaz is the center back. So those are the 5 at the back. Romero, Markanich, Boxall, Hongwane, and Diaz. Robin Lod is going to be the attacking midfielder. Will Trapp, the defensive midfielder. Joaquin Pereira, going to be the attacking midfielder as well. And then Carlos Harvey as a DM. And then Oluwise, going to be the striker. Tantuula Oluwise, going to be the striker. Oluwise, their best player, too. You're going to see him all over the pitch. He's their striker, leading goal scorer. Very, very good player for Minnesota United, and has been an absolute menace for opposing teams this year within the MLS. Their substitutes: Alex Smear, Sungbin Hwang, Joseph Rosales, Kelvin Yaboa, Samuel Shashoa, Hongwing Young, Morris Dugan, Julian Gressel, and DJ Taylor. So those are your substitutes for Minnesota United coming up in this fixture. As I said, very big couple of fixtures coming up for Inter Miami starting today. 3 games in 8 days. And starting with Minnesota United, the second team on that MLS Western Conference table. We have kickoff here in just over a half an hour. I said we are powered by Audi. Folks, this is our Inter Miami pregame show, and the road is calling. The thrill of the drive, folks. Get in that brand new Q6 e-tron today. It is an all-new, fully electric 2025 vehicle featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi technology. It's not just an electric vehicle. It is a new way to experience driving. The Q6 e-tron, premium, all mid-size SUV that boosts an EPA estimated range of up to 321 miles, allowing you to get to where you want to go in state-of-the-art fashion. The next chapter of Audi starts now. Test drive that brand new Q6 e-tron today at your local South Florida Audi dealer, or visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. Inter Miami, 21 points on that table in 4th place. They're going to be catching up on some games. So if things go according to plan, and when I mean according to plan, in a perfect world, Philadelphia and Columbus would tie today. If they tie, Columbus would get 25 points, Philadelphia with 23. Inter Miami, with all of the fixtures they have coming up within the MLS, these 3 games in 8 days, if they're able to take care of business, Inter Miami could get right back up to the top of that Eastern Conference. So I think that's something to look out for. You got the Columbus Crew and the Philadelphia Union doing battle later on today. And if you're a Heron fan out there, you are rooting for a draw. You're rooting for a draw, and you're rooting for 1 point. And Inter Miami obviously needs to take care of business. I don't want to act like I'm taking Minnesota United lightly. This is a very good side. This is a surprise side so far throughout the season, and they're a hot team. And you never want to kind of underestimate an opponent. And I don't think Inter Miami will do that from here on out. You know, even with San Jose, who's let's call for what it is. San Jose, not very good, 13 points on the table, play absolutely no defense. I don't think Inter Miami will be overlooking any opponent. Now, no Luis Suarez in this one. Personal reasons, something's going on with Luis. He is not going to be playing either. So Alan Abando, I mentioned, is a substitute. I think you will see Abando at some point. If it's Messi sliding into a number 10 role and him going to striker, I think Alan Abando is going to get minutes. I'm a little surprised that Alan Abando not in the starting lineup for Gaffer Javier Mascherano. Let's remember the last time Abando's name was called in the starting lineup, he picked up a goal against FC Dallas. So I think that's something that we got to look out for as well, as Abando coming off of that bench. I think Toto Aviles will probably get some run as well. As I mentioned, your center backs are Noah Allen and Gonzalo Luan. Very capable, have been very good for Mascherano on the defensive side. But Toto Aviles was a starter for a lot of the games for Javier Mascherano early on in the season. And I mentioned Tadio Allende as a substitute as well. Allende kind of picked up a knock earlier on in the year. He was by far, when Inter Miami was running that 4-3-3-1, when they were running a left wing, a right wing, and a striker, Allende was a household name for Mascherano on that left side. It was Allende, Suarez, and then Messi on the right. And obviously Suarez playing striker. I think Allende could find his form too. I think he could find his way into the 11 as soon as this ball gets rolling as well. Folks, let's take our first time out. This is the Inter Miami Radio Network on ESPN 1063. We are powered by your local South Florida Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. Now, Inter Miami, the last time our Herons were in action, they picked up a 4-1 win. We'll flip it on over to the highlights and Ken LaVicka of that game coming up next. But we got Minnesota United and Inter Miami. No Fafa Pico. He has a migraine. Luis Suarez is dealing with some personal business. He's not available either. Lionel Messi playing the number 9 striking role coming up tonight. We'll continue to give you those starting lineups as we progress here on the Inter Miami Radio Network.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS air conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
At PNC Bank, they pride themselves on being boring. But the truth is, they couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. For nearly 160 years, they've quietly toiled away to deliver brilliant results for their equally brilliant clients. Now, their dedicated financial teams are ready to do the boring work to help you unlock your own brilliance. Let's see what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Breaking news on ESPN 1063 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 1063 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 1063 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 1063 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
So, Good Morning America does a story on Bill Belichick. Awesome. National TV. Big spotlight.
Good morning, George. People who aren't even into football are wondering what's going on.
And when they need a clip from the Disney ESPN family, they pick Theoretically Speaking with Theo and C-Cat.
Jordan is on the field. It's her world, and Bill is just living in it.
Theo and C-Cat? Are you kidding me? We host a national show. I've worshipped Belichick for 2 decades, and they use C-Cat? Congrats, guys. On Sportsmanlike Mornings, Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2. Great.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121, or visit tworld.com today.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
The pink smoke is in the air. Inter Miami Soccer is on ESPN 106.3. Let's get back to the Inter Miami pregame show. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Interleague play coming up for the Herons. We have Inter Miami in the Eastern Conference, and we have Minnesota United in that Western Conference doing battle. Minnesota United is second on that table in the West with 19 points. And to put things in perspective, Charlotte has 19 points on the season, and they're in fifth place. So the Eastern Conference, tough sledding in that Eastern Conference with Inter Miami, FC Cincinnati, Philadelphia Union, and the Columbus Crew all north of 20 points. Inter with 21, FC Cincinnati 22, Philadelphia 22, and Columbus 24. But let's not forget about the team as well that knocked out our Herons in that CONCACAF Champions Gold Cup, the Vancouver Whitecaps, sitting at 26, and they're actually at the top of the Supporter Shield. So interesting stuff as we get ready for an intra-league game with Western Conference foe and our Inter Miami Herons in the East. Let's go through those starting lineups once again. Inter Miami is going to be without Fafa Pico. Once again, if you're just joining us, no Fafa Pico. He has a migraine. He's dealing with the migraine, so he will not be available for the Herons. And Luis Suarez is dealing with a personal issue. So he's dealing, or rather matter, not an issue. Apologies, matter. He's dealing with a personal matter, and he will not be available for the game coming up today. Inter Miami is going to be running a 4-2-3-1. Let's remember, the last time the Herons played, it was a 4-4-2. They're calling this a 4-2-3-1 tonight. Oscar Ustari will be the goalkeeper between the posts, and then your four defenders, Gonzalo Luan, Jordi Alba on that left back side, Noah Allen as the center back, Marcelo Wigan as your right back. So your two center backs, Luan and Allen, your left back, Jordi Alba, and your right back is going to be Marcelo Wigan, who's coming off of a goal the last game that we're about to hear against a pretty formidable foe in New York Red Bulls. Now let's move on to the midfield. Sergio Busquets going to be playing a attacking midfielder role tonight. Talasco Segovia as a right mid, Benjamin Kromaski as a left mid. Your defensive mids coming up today in the 4-2-3-1 are Yannick Bright and Federico Redondo. And then Lionel Messi will be the lone striker up top with no Luis Suarez. Coming off of the bench, you have Alan Abando. I think Abando is going to get some run tonight at that striker position. I think Messi might fall back into a number 10 role at some point. I think Mascherano, when he starts the substitution process, I think Alan Abando might be one of the first names coming up. We will have to wait and see. But Abando, the young striker, Ecuadorian striker, is on the bench. Toto Aviles, Hector Martinez, Ian Frey, Tadio Allende, Leo Afonso, Rocco Rios Novo, backup keeper, Maxi Falcone, and Santiago Morales. So that is your starting 11 and substitutes coming up for Inter Miami. Let's go and flip it on over to Minnesota United. Minnesota United runs 5 at the back. And as I said earlier, this isn't EAFC. This isn't FIFA. This is not a rat formation. If I saw someone running 5 at the back in the video game, this is real life. Minnesota United is very, very good this year with 19 points on the table at second in the Western Conference. Let's start with with their goalkeeper and the 5 defenders. Between the posts is Dane St. Clair. And then let's move on to our first center back, Nicholas Romero. Your left back, Anthony Markanich. Your next center back, Michael Boxall. Boxall will be captaining today as well. Bankulo Hongwan will be your right back. And your another center back, Jefferson Diaz, and that'll do it for the 5 at the back. Diaz, Hongwan, Boxall, Markanich, and Romero. Moving on to an attacking midfielder is Robin Ludd. A defensive mid today will be Will Trapp. Another defensive mid, Carlos Harvey. And then your last attacking mid before we get up top to the number 9 and striker is Joaquin Pereira. And then their best player, their striker, Tantuala Oluwase. Oluwase, very dangerous in that attack up top, and they rely on him to do a lot, being one of the rather, I don't want to say lone players up top because you got 3, technically 3 attacking mids in the formation with Oluwase, Ludd, and Pereira. But certainly Oluwase going to be doing a lot in the game. I think Javier Mascherano and Inter Miami are doing their darndest to figure out how to slow down that man. Now, I mentioned last week, Inter Miami got all 3 points, and they got back on track within the MLS and rather on the season, right? I mean, Inter Miami, they were fresh off of getting knocked out of the CONCACAF Champions Cup by Vancouver. They lost within the league the last time they played as well. They had an L3 going. They had a 3-game losing streak. And then Inter Miami able to get back on track 4-1 against New York Red Bulls. Let's hear some of the highlights from the Red Bulls in the Red Bulls game, and the last time Inter Miami was on the pitch. Fafa Pico, like I said, not available tonight, has a migraine issue, but Fafa Pico got on the goal scoring list first and opened up the scoring 1-0 early on in the game. Let's hear our good buddy Ken Levica.
It is swiped on to Weygott again. He'll charge right side of the box, send it to the middle. Fafa Pico got on the end of it. On the far post, after it crossed the box right to left, Pico is there. Delivers it to the upper portion of goal with a right foot. An explosive start for Inter Miami in the 8th minute. Fafa Pico scores for a second straight MLS match, and it's 1-0 Inter Miami.
So 1-0 early on in the first half. Let's move on to our next highlight, and here's Sergio Busquets with a nifty interception.
And a fortuitous bounce for New Yorker, and they're on the run. 3-on-2. Forsberg right up the middle. Forsberg to the penalty yard. Oh, a beautiful tackle. It was punched away with a right foot by Busquets, showing every bit of his veteran acumen.
We move on to Marcelo Wigan, who opens up the second goal for Inter Miami. The linesman judge originally called somebody offsides who had a direct result in the play. So they originally called this one offsides. Silly Ken and Silly Mike. This one will count in a second.
On to Pico, left of the box. It's a beautiful cross. Point blank save, but staying with it was Weygott. And he scored, but he is offside, it appears. The goal will not stand. Weygott had Pico serve him perfectly. Weygott with a header. Coronel saved it. Then Weygott swung his right leg at the loose ball and scored. And I believe they're going to call a foul on Weygott.
So they were looking at offsides, it turns out. And referee, I think you're going to have to go to the monitor and take a second look.
After review, Miami number 57 was not in an offside position. The final decision.
It is a goal for Marcelo Weygott. Weygott with the goal. It stands. It's 2-0 Inter Miami. At the half-hour mark, Weygott does indeed get credit for the goal. It's his first of the season, and Fafa Pico's having himself a night. He has a goal and an assist, and it's a 2-0 advantage for Inter Miami.
Great link-up play with Fafa Pico and Marcelo Wigan. Cello, who was under some fire by Inter Miami fans and supporters. People were calling for Ian Frey, who is having a good run of games. Ian Frey had 2 assists in the game against FC Dallas when he was out on the pitch. Looked pretty good against Vancouver when he came on as well. But Marcelo Wiggins silencing the haters with a nice goal to make things 2-0 for our Herons. So let's move on to the Luis Suarez goal. Suarez was on a 0 for 8. He did not have a direct result with a goal for 8 games. And late on in the first half, the 39th minute, Luis Suarez breaks that. Ken?
The drought is over for Luis Suarez. Off the rebound, he finally finds the back of the net. He tucked it inside the far post. Luis Suarez, how good does that have to feel? He hasn't scored one a play in the last 10, doesn't have a goal in the last 8. That is now over. 3-0 Inter Miami. It's a rout in Fort Lauderdale.
Certainly love seeing Luis Suarez find the back of the net. This was the player who had the most goals, the Golden Boot, within the MLS last season. Coming up next segment, we're going to be going through the MLS stats leaders. And certainly, even though kind of Luis Suarez had a rough go at, like I said, an 0 for 8 in contributions to a goal in his last 8 games before that goal right there, he's still up there in a specific category when it comes to scoring goals. We will talk about that here coming up next segment. But let's move on to the lone goal that New York Red Bulls was able to score. This was not a clean sheet for Javier Mascherano's side last Saturday. Let's take a listen to a Mohamed Sofo goal. And at the time, myself and Ken Levica thought Choupo-Moting got ahead on this. It turned out it was a cross-ish goal. Mohamed Sofo was trying to cross the ball on in, ended up getting in the back of the net after VAR technology and MLS officials took a look at it. Let's hear the Sofo goal.
Here is a corner from the far side, play to the back post. It's headed to the line and a goal for New York Red Bulls. It was headed back to the opposite post, and it's Choupo-Moting who finished short range. Sofo was able to get to that back post corner, send it to the opposite post where Choupo-Moting tapped it home.
So Choupo-Moting we thought was going to get credit for the goal, and it turned out to be Mohamed Sofo. If you remember, too, Choupo-Moting, a pretty good player for Bayern Munich back in the days, bounced around. The Cameroonian national player certainly has made his mark within world football. This is the goal everyone was looking for, right? This makes things 4-1 and completely out of reach. The great one, the GOAT.
Good left-footed delivery, Segovia, right back to Messi. In short order, here's Messi! It volleyed to him outside the 6-yard box, and he scores with a swinging left-footed shot, blasted it by Coronel. Lionel Messi is on the board. It's party time in Fort Lauderdale. Messi gives Inter Miami 4-1, Inter Miami.
We'll have plenty more highlights coming up for you on the Inter Miami Radio Network at halftime. You will hear our very own Ken Levica and the big highlights of that first half. We'll play the post-game highlights as well from the first and the second half. You could always rely on us to tell the story on the games with what happens right here on the pregame show, the halftime report, and the postgame show on your Inter Miami Radio Network. Let's take a timeout right now. We are probably a little under 10-ish, 13-ish minutes until getting that ball rolling in Minnesota. We will be going pitch side to Ken Levica coming up here real soon. But next segment, we'll go through the starting 11s again. We'll go around the MLS too. We'll take a look at what's going on the MLS table, Western Conference and Eastern Conference. We'll take a look at a couple of the stat leaders, the stat sheet, so would say, assists leaders, goal contribution leaders, goal leaders. We'll take a look at all that good stuff here coming up next, and we'll continue to preview Minnesota United and our Inter Miami Herons. Inter Miami on the road at Minnesota, the number 2 team on that Western Conference table. Eastern Conference versus Western Conference coming up here soon on the Inter Miami Radio Network.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
PNC Bank couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. But you may be wondering, isn't PNC that boring bank? Well, is starting a business or being the first person in your family to go to college boring? For 160 years, they've done the occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. That's why they have dedicated teams throughout the local area ready to help you unlock your own brilliance. See what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Don't miss Russo and Rizzo.
I want the people to come in and fix the washer. Go, God, this kid has a nice apartment.
What if the maintenance guy is on vacation? You're in trouble.
I can't believe that this busted. Can I compare myself to like a woman with like 5 kids? How much I do laundry
Every day? You've expedited the process of aging for this washing machine.
They bent over backwards for me to move in.
Bent over backwards? You're the one that's paying that money.
Yeah, right. You're in some trouble. Your workout clothes are few and far between now with no washing machine.
It's Russo and Rizzo, weekdays at 4 here on ESPN 106.3.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
The pink smoke is in the air. Inter Miami Soccer is on ESPN 106.3. Let's get back to the Inter Miami pregame show. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Battle of number 4 in the Eastern Conference against number 2 in the Western Conference. A little intra-league play in the MLS between our Inter Miami Herons and Minnesota United. Welcome on back to our final segment of the pregame show here on the Inter Miami Radio Network. Wanted to go through a couple of MLS household items here real quick before we throw it to Ken Levicka on that pitch. He is pitch side, and we'll have the call tonight, as always, with Minnesota United and our Inter Miami Herons. Columbus, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Inter Miami. It's your top 4. Charlotte, Nashville, NYCFC, Orlando, and New England match out the top 9. 9 teams make the playoffs from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Let's move on over to that Western Conference. Vancouver, Minnesota, Portland, San Diego, LAFC, Austin, Seattle, Colorado, and FC Dallas. Those are your top 9 teams within the Western Conference. Let's flip it on over and take a look at a couple of players who are up there for the Golden Boot in this short season so far. Tari Baribo for Philadelphia, who we saw earlier on this year. He has 7 goals, and another 2 are tied. Hugo Cupers and Christian Arango. So Arango with San Jose, and Hugo Cupers, the Belgian, with Chicago. He's certainly a solid player this year. Saw him in Chicago in a draw with Inter Miami and Chicago FC. But those are your top players on top of the goal-scoring list. Let's take a look at the assist leaders. I kind of teased before last segment that Luis Suarez was up on a category, and this is the category. He has 6 assists. He is tied for first with Pep Biel, who we also saw for Charlotte FC. And then in third right now is Christian Espinoza for San Jose. So San Jose, folks, they might have 13 points on that table, but they score goals and they create chances with Arango as the striker and Espinoza as the midfielder and assister. Your goal and assist contributors, who has the most on the year, is another San Diego, excuse me. I saw the San. I'm like, another San Jose. No, San Diego. Anders Dreyer has 9 goal and assists on the year, but 2 tied with them as well, Pat Beal, and then also Christian Espinoza for San Jose. So we do have a San Jose Earthquake player. Ken wasn't lying when he said that was a one-way traffic team. A one-way traffic team, meaning, for those of you unfamiliar with the term, just an absolute goal-scoring affair every time they step out for both teams. So San Jose, the team that Inter Miami is going to be seeing here coming up in their next fixture. But folks, that'll wrap it up for me on the pregame. We will send you pitch side again with Ken LaVicka. And just a reminder, Fafa Pico, migraine, no Luis Suarez, Messi as striker. Ken will give you the 11s again here on the Inter Miami Radio Network.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled program for this special presentation of Inter Miami Soccer on ESPN 106.3.
Goal to Messi!
Now let's get to the pitch.
Oh, it's a cannon shot! Go ahead and give him the goal of the week!
Here's Ken LaVicka.
A challenging beginning to a 2-game road trip that is going to traverse the country. It is Inter Miami feeling good after a 4-1 triumph over New York Red Bulls last weekend. They are in Minnesota. It is a debut trip to St. Paul. Inter Miami, Minnesota United, 4th in the East. Inter Miami, surprise 2nd in the West. Minnesota United, and they're about to tangle on this Saturday afternoon on the Inter Miami Radio Network. And a great Saturday to all of you listening on not only ESPN 106.3, your Inter Miami flagship, but also on the Deportes Radio FC app. Inter Miami comes into this matchup 6 victories to 1 defeat, 3 draws on the year, 4th in the East, and 3 back at the top spot coming into the weekend. As for Minnesota United, they have flown under the radar, and they have done it expertly. 19 points in the table, 5 wins, 2 losses, 4 draws. They are 2nd in the West, 7 back of surging Vancouver. It is going to be a challenging matchup today for Inter Miami. Not to mention the fact that then it is on a plane and it is out to Northern California, where a battle with San Jose looms midweek before coming back to South Florida and playing in front of the home fans next weekend. Busy. So here are the points of emphasis here. And again, Inter Miami and Minnesota United just a couple of minutes away. I'm Ken LaVicka. With me in St. Paul at Allianz Field is Oscar Gonzalez, the OG, our on-site engineer, and back in the network studios, as always, is Mike Rizzo. Great work with the pregame show. As always, we'll hear him again at halftime. First and foremost, Lionel Messi available in the starting 11, but featuring as the striker. That is because due to personal matters, no Luis Suarez. He had to travel outside of South Florida. He was not at training during the mid portions and later portions of this week. His status unknown yet for that match midweek, but Luis Suarez tending to some personal matters, so he is not available. And Fafa Pico, a late scratch for Javier Mascherano. This appeared as if it was going to be a custom-made opportunity for Pico with no Suarez, but Fafa Pico battling a migraine, so he is unable to feature today in a 11 or even in a substitute role for Inter Miami. And that means that Sergio Busquets is going to be pushed up into an attacking midfield spot with Lionel Messi playing in that striker role, and then Benjamin Kremasky and Talasco Segovia on the wings. Minnesota United, what a story they have been. Very similar to Vancouver Whitecaps, just flying under the radar with all the attention, and rightfully so, that this side Inter Miami gets with Lionel Messi and company, Supporters Shield, all the different trophies they're chasing. Vancouver didn't really get talked about until dispatching of Inter Miami in the semifinal of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Minnesota United has ridden stinginess and a deadly counterattack to second in the table in the West. And so Inter Miami and its athleticism going to have its work cut out for it on this Saturday afternoon. Allianz Field, St. Paul, Minnesota. Inter Miami in their pink uniforms head to toe, while Minnesota United in their mostly black kits with blue trim, white lettering, and numbering. And we are underway as the whistle blows from Filip Dujic. He is our referee today. And these two sides that are battling at the top of their respective conferences and both well within the Supporters Shield race, they are tangling in St. Paul. Javier Mascherano, his first year at the helm of Inter Miami, and Eric Ramsey, the second-year boss at Minnesota United. Kickoff temperature here in St. Paul, it doesn't get much more perfect than this. 74 degrees, 25% humidity. What is that? Is that even possible? As we have gotten into full-fledged about 1,000% humidity in South Florida over the last couple of weeks. Inter Miami, 6 victories, 1 defeat, 3 draws, 21 points, 4th in the East, 3 back of the top of the table. Minnesota United, 5-2-4, 5 victories, 2 defeats, 4 draws. They're at 19 points, 2nd of the West, 7 back of Vancouver. Minnesota, they have registered a clean sheet 4 of their last 6 and 5 of 7 all competitions, including Wednesday night, a round of 32 U.S. Open Cup triumph at Louisville City of the USL Championship, which is not a very easy thing to do if you follow the USL Championship. That is the gold standard of home field advantages. And Minnesota United has quite the home field advantage here in St. Paul. Allianz Field, one of the finest venues in the entire league. Inter Miami is going to have a throw-in from its defensive half, as Inter Miami in the opening 45 will go right to left on the attack. Inter Miami, 4 changes from the victory over New York Red Bulls last Saturday at Chase Stadium. Lionel Messi replaces Luis Suarez at the top of the formation. Ben Kremasky on the left wing in place of Fafa Pico, who's battling a migraine. Talasco Segovia in for Allende on the right side of that wing. And then Federico Redondo back in the 11 as Sergio Busquets pushes up in the formation. Inter Miami in the left attacking half. Messi tried to feed a ball through to Jordi Alba, who was making a run up the left wing. Federico Redondo with a steal after Minnesota United briefly possessed. Inter Miami in the midfield, defensive side. And now along the near left touchline, here is Jordi Alba, his customary left wing back position. Yannick Bright off to the right side of Wagon. He had his first goal of the season against New York. He continues to whip in dangerous crosses at a prodigious rate. Long ball from the middle of the pitch onto the near left touchline, left attacking third, Inter Miami. Segovia pushes it to about 35 yards away to Redondo. And now Redondo and Busquets survey in the attacking midfield. Good shape from this Minnesota United defense. They've only conceded 10 times. That's tied for third in Major League Soccer. That is one better than Inter Miami. That 4-goal output a couple of weeks ago from FC Dallas really inflated what has been a strong, stubborn defensive showing for Inter Miami the vast majority of the season. We are 3.5 minutes in here in the Great White North. And Redondo has it near left touchline for Inter Miami. Overlaps with Alba at the border of the left attacking third. Now pushed out to Noah Allen. It has been pretty much all possession for Inter Miami through nearly 4 minutes as expected. Minnesota United is an absolutely elite counterattacking team, and Inter Miami's going to have to be careful. Here is a delivery from about 35 yards out. Looking for Kromoski was Allen, and it was picked off. And now speaking of the counter, here comes Minnesota United. Here is Ludd. Ludd outside the penalty arc. Push the ball off to the left wing. Trying to run up is Pereira to the edge of the box. Left side at that border, and hitting the deck was Pereira. Strong tackle from Sergio Busquets, who was able to get back defensively. So the first question asked for Minnesota United, but a shot unable to be unleashed, and then a tackle along the far left touchline by Pereira. And it's out of play to Inter Miami. It was a really good job by Noah Allen to cut off any sort of shooting lane at the top of the box as Ludd was trying to open himself up just a little bit of space to test Oscar Ustari, and Allen made sure that didn't happen. Noah Allen, how sound has he been all year long, the Inter Miami homegrown? As soon as I said that, he had a heavy touch in the right defensive third that almost led to what would have been a gruesome turnover, but he was able to recover and poke it on to Gonzalo Lujan, the center backs for Inter Miami. Noah Allen, Gonzalo Lujan today for Javier Mascherano. And then Yannick Bright is spun down. Contact with the ankle on the right wing. A foul is called on Minnesota United about 30 yards from goal. That was Will Trapp, the capped U.S. men's national team player, called for the foul. He has 2 goals this season, does Trapp. Yannick Bright making his 7th start of the year for Inter Miami. We are just over 5.5 minutes in. No score, Inter Miami and Minnesota United. Only the second matchup all time between these two sides. Inter Miami a 2-1 victory back in 2022. June 25th, if you're scoring at home. Indiana Vassilev had 2 goals in the final 15 minutes of that one for the come-from-behind victory. Free kick, 35 yards out. Right wing, Segovia approach. Now Messi's going to float it into the left side, just outside the box. Alba touches on a back heel attempt on a pass, and it never got through from Yannick Bright, but it's won right back by Inter Miami. Busquets, he's tackled down and fouled along the near left touch line. Left attacking third. This is a foul on Jefferson Diaz. He is playing along the right side of the defense for Minnesota United. He had an assist in last Saturday's win over Austin FC, a 3-0 triumph for Minnesota United. They're in the Lone Star State. As we tick on to and welcome you to minute number 7. Inter Miami, Minnesota United, 0-0, and Lionel Messi, Talasco Segovia, about 20 yards out, whipped in, free kick. Messi, it was popped high into the air and up across the end line near side. We'll have our first corner of the game. It'll be to Inter Miami. All corners brought to you by Lotto Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, representing injured people and their families for more than 35 years. Visit foryourrights.com. Near side to far side, left attacking third corner for Lionel Messi. This will be an outswinger, and he delivers it to the penalty arc. Segovia, one touches it onto his right foot, but had a shot blocked. He got good contact on it. Inter Miami snuffs out the counterattack, but then I don't know what in the world happened there from Marcelo Wagon. In the center circle, it looked like he was trying to feed Lionel Messi, who was still behind the play, and he blasted it about 20 yards over his head and across the left end line for a Minnesota United goal kick. I suppose if you want to try and defend Weygant there, he broke up a chance at a counterattack. That's me being positive about that sequence. We're into minute number 8. Inter Miami, Minnesota United, 0-0. Herons for Inter Miami, Loons for Minnesota United. There's a battle of two water-dwelling birds. Near side to far side. Right defensive half, left attacking half pass from Jordi Alba, but it was picked off by Minnesota United, and we see a touch for Dane Sinclair, the veteran goalkeeper for Minnesota United. 6 clean sheets in the first 10 games. The 6th goalkeeper in MLS history to achieve that many clean sheets in the opening 10 matches of a campaign. He has 31 MLS clean sheets with Minnesota United, 37 of the 68 clean sheets, all competitions in team history. And he is capped by Canada. He started the 3rd place game against Uruguay in Copa America 24 here in the States. Inter Miami trying to build from the back right to left. A long ball forward on the left wing. It was intended for Alba, blocked down by Minnesota, but right on to Segovia on the left wing. Now into the middle, Redondo about 30 yards away. Gives it up Noah Allen near side. Inside left channel. Redondo, a chunky pass, wanted Segovia between 3 defenders about 24 yards out. It never got there, and Minnesota United back on it. Sergio Busquets comes up with a steal. Pushes it on right of the box, Kromoski. Kromoski looks, surveys, has to cut it back. And far left touchline, Inter Miami forced to be patient. No room to deliver anything. Now Noah Allen streaking up the middle. To the left wing, Jordi Alba. Alba's going to have to turn it back towards the midfield, and he will roll it on to Noah Allen. It is squirted over to Busquets in front of the center circle, and a bad giveaway. And here comes Minnesota United, a 1-on-3. Some nifty footwork. And the ball pushes forward through traffic, and a goal for Minnesota United in the box. And they're going to wave it off. It's going to be a foul that's called on Uluwaseyi. Tani Uluwaseyi was able to grab a loose ball after all the work that Joaquin Pereira had done to skirt through 3 Inter Miami defenders, and a foul is called. Wipe off the goal, and we remain 0-0. The man, Noah Allen, could not dispossess Pereira, and they actually called an offside as Uluwaseyi, the Canadian international, was a good 2 steps ahead of Marcelo Weygant, who was backtracking. And after Noah Allen at least impeded the progress of Pereira, Weygant came up to try and help, and that played Uluwaseyi offside. So Inter Miami escapes that, and Kromoski, with some poor ball handling in the corner far side, left attacking third for Inter Miami, simply chunks the ball across the far touchline near the corner flag, and it's going to be a defensive third throw in far side for Minnesota United. Inter Miami, no surprise, in the first 11 and a half minutes, 74% possession for the men in pink on this Saturday. But still have yet to unleash any shot that has come near the target of Dane Sinclair. Inter Miami is going to retrieve a loose ball in the right defensive third. Noah Allen, good job to chip it into the middle for Busquets, and he will spray to the far side onto Kromoski. Kromoski onto Lionel Messi, who charges forward, far right touchline. Wanted to play it forward to Kromoski. That was tackled away by Anthony Markanek across the far touchline, and a throw-in for Inter Miami. Quickly deposited in, and the ball's worked to the near left side. Alba from the touchline, left to the box. Segovia hustles to get there, plays it back to Alba, and a foul along that touchline. Segovia was trucked from behind after he distributed that delivery to Alba. And Jefferson Diaz, our referee, Felipe Dujic, just motioned to him. That's the second time that you've had a reckless foul. That was his warning, I believe. Next time he's going to see a card. We are cardless through nearly 13 minutes of action. Inter Miami, Minnesota United, zeros on the score line, and a free kick opportunity. Set piece here for Inter Miami. left of the box on the touchline, and Jordi Alba looks like he is going to swing it in with his left foot. Alba approaches the former Barcelona man into the 6-yard box, headed away and cleared, but not job done completely yet as Messi has it outside the box right side. Kremoski fell down, but it's played through to Redondo. Kremoski back on to Messi in the penalty arc, and his left foot delivery to Segovia was intercepted, but Inter Miami right back on the ball. Segovia, Alba left side of the box, wanted to play it back into the middle, and that was punched across the end line near side by Diaz. Another Inter Miami corner. Brought to you by Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, represented injured people and their families for more than 35 years. Visit foryourrights.com. Inter Miami, a lot of good buildup, just cannot find a channel to get a shot off. It is frustrating to this moment, but Inter Miami off of the set piece, short corner. Messi, left to the area, pushes on the left wing, Alba. Alba and Messi, short range one more time. Now Messi possesses. Messi looks in and tried to chip a ball at the top of the penalty arc, and that's intercepted. Uluwashi, look out. He is a track star. He's already into the right attacking half, and he's going to try and chip Ustari and put it well up over Ustari's goal from 30 yards away. But man, Tony Uluwashi is a big, big problem. Not only is he big literally with his silky smooth 6'3" frame, but man, he is a blazer. And Wagon had no shot at catching him from behind. Good thing was Inter Miami had defensive support tracking Uluwashi, who was trying to get out on the break. And after all of that, Inter Miami is able to possess the ball, play out of the back once again. That was set up by a poor pass from Lionel Messi, who is playing striker today without Luis Suarez, but he has come back and he has needed to get into the midfield to possess the ball. And it's forced him to try and be a playmaker from both the left, right, and the middle. And now Minnesota United into the right attacking third, rare possession for the home side. And a throw-in will come for Inter Miami as Ludd had a short-range pass go off of Alba along that near touch line and then hit off of Ludd again. So that possession I was speaking of for Minnesota United, short-lived. We are just past the 15-minute mark. Inter Miami and Minnesota United are 0-0. Busquets took a throw-in off his right foot and blasted himself in the face and turned it over. Poor touch, but Inter Miami won it right back, only to give it away with Segovia. And then Busquets, after he got a foot on it again, had it blocked up into the air and in the right defensive third for Inter Miami. The ball has not traversed up the pitch more than 7 feet since the last throw-in, and Inter Miami is going to try and play it out of the back now. Robin Ludd for Minnesota United, the veteran, the Finnish international, leading goal scorer in Minnesota United history. And he gets the start today. Inter Miami, they are able to maneuver into the left attacking third. On the far right touchline, outside channel, Wagon, Bright, and now left side as it goes far side to near side for Noah Allen. Lays it off for Segovia, who swipes it into the center circle, Gonzalo Lujan. Inter Miami in pink on this Saturday. Again, staying patient in possession. Do not have a shot on target. There's a long ball far side to near side. Alba, good touch, kept it in play, has it left of the box, sends it up top near the penalty arc. Bright, he had his foot swiped. The ball's loose top of the area, and it's nearly won back by Inter Miami. Finally, Minnesota United pushes it out of there. And look at the big, bulky Uluwashi. He muscles through 3 different Inter Miami defenders, bullies his way into the right attacking half. Finally, play is held up. But man, Uluwashi is a huge problem. He is just linebackering Inter Miami defenders as he muscles his way up the pitch. Minnesota United, though, tried a long ball forward from the midfield, and that was easily picked off by Gonzalo Lujan of Inter Miami. Minnesota United is the worst passing team in Major League Soccer. 75.3% pass completion percentage, dead last, and 35.5% on the long ball. Here's Inter Miami from outside the box. A shot attempt from Lionel Messi. Looks like it took a deflection, and it's going to bounce across the end line out of play. Did it? We're going to take a look at the replay here. Lionel Messi was surging forward, trying to make some sort of magic happen, shooting from outside the penalty D, and it is going to be a throw-in for Inter Miami from the near side. Brought to you by Lytle Ryder Smith Ivy and Fronrath, representing injured people and their families more than 35 years. ForYourRights.com. Short corner. Messi pokes it on to Segovia. Now Jordi Alba on the left wing floats a ball back post. It is headed out of play far side across the end line by Minnesota United's Nicholas Romero, and another Lytle Ryder Smith Ivy and Fronrath corner coming for Inter Miami. This will be far side to near side. 18th minute. 0-0. Inter Miami, Minnesota United, second meeting all time. Now we have a brief stoppage, and there is a massive humanity in front of Dane St. Clair's goal in the left attacking third. The referee, Philippe Dujic, into direct traffic. Minnesota United, those 6 clean sheets this year, but only 8 points at home for Minnesota this season. Here is a near post corner. That was swung in by Messi. It was very short, and it is shouldered out of play by Carlos Harvey, the midfielder for Minnesota. So Lionel Messi is going to get another shot here at a corner, and this time he goes short on a Segovia, who swipes it off to the right side on the wing for Weigand. Now Messi, he tried to feed back post from the far side outside the area. It floated over the head of Redondo, who was making a run. St. Clair dove. He thought that maybe that was destined for goal, and it flies out of play. And it'll be a goal kick for Minnesota United. That ends up being the best opportunity of the day for Inter Miami, and that Lionel Messi pass did not find the target. So as we've seen through junctures of this season, Inter Miami's built up great. Oh, what a back heel from Jordi Alba near left touchline on a quick ball from the midfield. He tried to feed left side of the box, and it's cleared out of play near touchline by Minnesota United. Segovia was the target of that Jordi Alba leaping ballerina-esque back heel. That was wonderful sailing through the air. Nobody Jordi Alba's age should be able to do that with that sort of flexibility. And Inter Miami off the throw-in will get to work in the left attacking half. 0-0, Inter Miami and Minnesota United. Fafa Pico not available for Inter Miami with a migraine headache. He did make the trip with the side to Minnesota. Noah Allen about 35 yards away for Inter Miami. Outside left channel on the touchline, Alba. And now Inter Miami calmly pushes it back near the center circle. Busquets will lay it off short range. Lujan, now Weigand. Weigand looks in from 35 yards out and has to play it back into the attacking midfield, and into the center circle it goes to Busquets. Busquets threads the needle on a pass. Redondo to the left of the box. Alba, left foot cross. It was tipped in front by the keeper, St. Clair. He made a mess of it, but then as Segovia approached the ball, it got contacted out of play across the end line. Jordi Alba with a dipping cross, and St. Clair dove with a left arm. It laid tastefully right at the mouth of the 6-yard box before it was blasted out of play for an Inter Miami corner presented by Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. Or did they award a goal kick? It looks like a goal kick was awarded. I don't know about that. Let's take 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. It's Inter Miami football.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a good karma brands radio station.
Ken Levica with you from Allianz Field, St. Paul, Minnesota. 0-0, Inter Miami, Minnesota United. The OG Oscar Gonzalez on-site engineer here as well. Mike Rizzo in the network studios in West Palm Beach. Minnesota United with the ball. Pereira dribbling near the right side of the box, dispossessed by Noah Allen of Inter Miami, but trying to get out on the run. Yannick Bright gacks up the possession. Diaz with the steal, and now Minnesota United's going to reset its attack in the center circle, left to right. Minnesota United clad in black and blue. That is where they work, how they try to maneuver in this first half. We do not have An official shot on target for either side as we get into minute number 23, which happens 5 seconds from now. And we are officially in the 23rd minute. Inter Miami 4th in the East. Minnesota United 2nd in the West, but it's Inter Miami that has accrued more points. 21 in the table to Minnesota United's 19. Redondo wanted to feed Segovia on the left wing, left attacking half for Inter Miami. But Minnesota United was able to muck that up. Inter Miami has to go retrieve a ball that was cleared away into the right defensive half and back into the attacking portion of the pitch is Inter Miami. Busquets from 35 yards out up the middle of Redondo. Wanted to push it on to Segovia. Could not link up with them. But Inter Miami once again right back in possession. They are tracking well. But again, when it's time for quality in the left attacking third, it's just not there for Inter Miami. Here is Kromoski. He hasn't seen the ball in forever on the right wing. He possessed it briefly. Bright on to Messi, who smacks it right back to Bright. And now into the middle, Busquets in front of the center circle. Now Messi in the middle channel. It's played by Segovia on to Busquets and out to the left wing, Jordi Alba. Alba looking, surveys to the edge of the box. Redondo left side. Now Jordi Alba, he had it near left touchline, and Inter Miami is going to have to send it right back into the center circle. 24th minute. Yannick Bright, some brief room to operate. Floats a ball to the left of the area. Onto the feet of Jordi Alba. His left foot in swinger. Nobody home. Kromoski was lurking, as was Segovia, but nobody could find the end of it. It rolls to the far side in the corner, and Minnesota United blasts it into the midfield. And Noah Allen is going to push it off to Oscar Ustari. And there's Oscar Ustari, one of his few touches here today, as he delivers a ball skyward into the left attacking half. It was bandied about by Minnesota United into the Inter Miami defensive portion. Good fight from Jordi Alba through 2 different Minnesota United players. And now Alba took a swipe at Joaquin Pereira. They were talking with one another. There was contact. And once Jordi Alba won that ball, he and Pereira started going at one another. The referee, quick to blow his whistle, come in and separate the two. I don't think there's going to be any cards. I believe Inter Miami is going to be awarded the ball. Alba and Pereira. And I think Alba took exception to a late bit of contact from Pereira with his right foot, swiped it across the toe of Jordi Alba. Not a whole lot of physical harm done. Maybe just a bit of gamesmanship between the two. Not a whole lot of action in this one. 0-0, Inter Miami and Minnesota United. We are approaching the 26th minute. Minnesota United, they have had the ball only 20% of the time in the first half. This is how they typically play. They hit on the counter, as evidenced by the fact they are last in Major League Soccer in free kicks, only 122 on the season. Alba, beautiful one-touch far post, and couldn't get it to Kromoski. It was a wonderfully weighted delivery on a volley as Alba put it across the face of goal, left to the box, to the far post, and Kromoski was a step late for the tap-in goal, and it rolls across the far end line for a goal kick. And there is frustration on the face of Jordi Alba. That is a wonderful ball. So another opportunity in the buildup for Inter Miami, but nothing to show for it. Inter Miami has taken make it 2 single shots in this match, both by Segovia, both blocked. A long ball was delivered forward. It ended up off ahead into the hands of Oscar Ustari, the Inter Miami goalkeeper, right side of this natural surface here in St. Paul, Allianz Field. And Inter Miami, guess what? Back in possession. This is the first of 2 on the road for Inter Miami. It'll be a midweek tilt in Northern California. Inter Miami paying a visit to San Jose. Inter Miami off to the West Coast, this Inter Miami road show. Back heel from Busquets onto Messi in the left attacking half. Now near side Alba, instead of traversing the touchline, decides to deliver it back into the middle for Messi. Busquets Matriculates it behind him into the center circle for Redondo. Now Busquets wanted to try short-range play through to Messi. That never got through. And then a foul on Segovia, who was trying to climb up and keep the ever-dangerous Oluwaseyi from racing on with the ball. No matter how many players are in front of Oluwaseyi, there is always the danger that he is just going to steamroll through you and then outrun you. That's what Segovia was trying to prevent, and he knocked him down from behind. And Segovia is called for the foul. There's some pushing and shoving after the play. Tani Oluwaseyi braces in back-to-back appearances March 15th and March 29th. That was at Kansas City and home here in St. Paul against Real Salt Lake. He was the 17th overall pick in the 2022 MLS Super Draft. Oluwaseyi also leads the team in goals this season, 5 of them, 3 assists as well. He is a complete player and a striker, nose for goal in every sense of the word. Off of the free kick from the defensive half for Minnesota United. Ball is headed just left of the area, and it bounces right into Oscar Ustari, and a quick distribution. Inter Miami working out of the back once again. Far side, right defensive third. We are into minute number 29, and we are searching for some attacking acumen from either side at this juncture. This has been quiet. 72% for Inter Miami in possession. 2 shots for Inter Miami, 1 shot for Minnesota United. Minnesota United able to possess the ball in their left defensive half. Minnesota United does not allow a lot of shots, and we're seeing that here with Inter Miami unable to pull the trigger. 42 shots against this year for Minnesota United. That is tied for 3rd in Major League Soccer. Taking on Inter Miami, who has 10 points away from home this year. That is tied for 1st in MLS. They've only conceded twice as Inter Miami on the road this year. Oluwaseyi. Nice tackle from behind by Busquets, about 35 yards away from goal. But the ball falls to the feet of Ludd after a collision. Now Minnesota United charging right to the box. Here is Longwene. He tried to push it towards the penalty spot. It was won back by Longwene. And then finally, it was Jordi Alba who was able to push the ball outside the area. And we have an injured Minnesota United player grabbing an ankle, a left ankle, on the far side. And play stops as the referee, Philippe Dujic, blows his whistle. And I think that's Marcanic, Anthony Marcanic, who is the afflicted Minnesota United party. So we are past the half-hour mark. And Lionel Messi, wearing the captain's armband per usual, looks on, barks directions. Marcanic went up for a header against Weigand, and the Minnesota United left back came down on the heel of Weigand, and that's how he twisted his ankle. But he's going to stay on, didn't need the physio, rub some dirt on it. Minnesota United trying to build up the middle off of a nifty header from the center circle. What a spin. Longwene to the outside. Ludd into the area, cleared some space, and then the ball pushes out beyond the box to the right touchline, right attacking 3rd Minnesota United. A pass slithers through to Harvey. He plays it to the right of the 6-yard box and a goal. It beats Ustari, who was kept out on the near post, but it was blasted far post. That was a beautiful build-up, and it's Longwene. Bongo Hookley Longwene for Minnesota United. Tags Inter Miami for a 3rd time this year. Only the 3rd goal conceded away by the Herons, and it's 1-0 Minnesota United. They've barely had possession, and they have the lead. 32nd minute. Noah Allen whipped on an attempt on Ludd, but it was Yannick Bright and Federico Redondo who allowed a pass to leak free, and then Lujan Lost Longwinay in the right side of the box, and Longwinay from just outside the 6-yard area hit it inside the far post, and Inter Miami playing from behind. That's what happens if you're Inter Miami and you possess the ball, but you do absolutely nothing with it. Minnesota United scores and succeeds the way they've done it all year. Just sit back, wait, and quick hit you. That was textbook. It's how they have gotten themselves second in the table in the West to this juncture. Bongo Huklai Longwinay, his first goal of the season, is 18th for Minnesota United, all competitions. And now Inter Miami needs to find a way to get a shot on target. That has not happened yet. And this venue is electric now. They have woken up. It's been a sleepy affair. Understandably so, as both sides have left very little to observe in wonderment, but now the home side has the 1-0 advantage. Segovia able to win a ball along the near end line. It's played to Busquets. Busquets to the right of the penalty arc. Weigott, a delivery. It took a deflection. Inter Miami's calling for a handball as it bounced one hop into Dane St. Clair's arms, the goalkeeper for Minnesota United. And quickly, Minnesota United trying to get itself into the midfield. And Oluwaseyi is dispossessed. It's poked across the near touchline, throw in Minnesota United defensive half. But Inter Miami suddenly looking a bit on its heels after conceding that goal. Minnesota United in its last 4, 1-2-1. 1 victory, 2 defeats, 1 draw at home. Not very effective, but they have the 1-0 advantage over Inter Miami. Jordi Alba smacks the ball near right touchline, right defensive third. To the middle for Weigott, who retrieves, and out of the outside, Kremoski in the defensive half. Playing the right wing today for Inter Miami, goes back to retrieve, and now Yannick Bright in the midfield. Still in the defensive half, though, is Inter Miami, and finally into the left attacking portion. Here's Busquets, 36th minute. A poor pass from Busquets. Segovia turned it over as he tried to reach back behind him with the right foot, and then a foul as Oluwaseyi was taken down. Advantage played by the referee, and Minnesota United far side to near side, right attacking third. Look out, Longwinay. He was tackled by Redondo, but a bad ball from Jordi Alba, who gives it away. Right attacking third, Minnesota United again. Trying to play it through as Minnesota United to Oluwaseyi. It was intercepted by Inter Miami. Now Kremoski has the ball far right touchline, left attacking half. In the midfield, Messi controls. Under Kremoski, touches it right back to Messi. Messi, 1v1 against Trapp. Short range Weigott, now Kremoski. Kremoski looking for some sort of safety valve. Finally sends it to the inside right channel for Busquets. Now, coming right up the middle is Allen. He will push it left foot onto Jordi Alba. Alba hesitates. Back to Allen, who's about 30 yards away. Now right channel, Busquets. Leaves it off for Messi. Messi hooks it to Allen. 37th minute, 1-0. Minnesota United with the lead. Messi in the middle facing 3 defenders. Gave it off Redondo. Now Busquets will deliver it to the outside Weigott. Into the right portion of the box. A turn from Bright. Tried to feed it to the top of the area. Wanted Segovia, who wasn't there quite yet. And Minnesota United takes the opportunity to blast the ball across the far right touchline out of play. Just shy of the midfield stripe. Minute number 37. 1-0 Minnesota United thanks to the goal from Bongo Huklai Longwinay. A former teammate of Oscar Ustari, the Inter Miami goalkeeper at Phoenix Rising in the USL Championship. Redondo wanted to play a ball to the top of the box left side, wanted Segovia. Segovia had just taken off in an opposite direction. Minnesota United pushes the ball to the midfield stripe. Inter Miami has to go retrieve. Messi around one defender. Right channel. Short range play through. Wanted Yannick Bright. Wasn't expecting it. The ball just clunks right by him. Lionel Messi's trying to create. Busquets slides in. Kremoski on to Messi. Messi in the penalty arc. Messi right foot and a diving stop. Dane St. Clair. It wasn't particularly troublesome, but St. Clair had to go to ground to gather it in his chest. And there is Inter Miami's first shot on target of this match, and it comes just shy of 40 minutes in. From inside the penalty arc, Lionel Messi with his non-dominant right foot. That was asking a lot of him to try and score from that angle and that foot and that position, but he did get it on target. So Inter Miami finally breaks through that shot on target threshold. Minute number 37. Can they keep it up and beat Dane Sinclair now, the Canadian international? Inter Miami is right back on the ball. Nearing 70% possession again, but on the wrong end of the scoreline, 1-0. Here's Noah Allen left of the box on a pass from Alba. Delivers it back post. There was a push in the back. Kremoski went flailing into goal. And now Lionel Messi retrieves along the touchline far side. Now Yannick Bright left foot, and he trickles a ball into the box. Wanted to shoot it, but chunked it, and St. Clair able to corral it just before it rolled across the end line. And he'll send it away. We'll take a look at the replay. Kremoski making a run, and he got pushed and grabbed at the same time. Went barrel rolling into Dane St. Clair's net, and the referee said nothing there. "1-0 Minnesota United, 39th minute. Look out on the run. Along Lene up the near right touchline after he headed the ball to himself. Tried to cut it to his left, and he's dispossessed by Yannick Bright. Good defensive play per usual by the outstanding Inter Miami midfielder Yannick Bright on that near touchline. Now Inter Miami, they meander forward to the midfield stripe, far side. Kremoski outside right channel. Back into the defensive half, right side of the pitch for Bright. And now Busquets will spray it off to the left for Jordi Alba. Alba left attacking half, Inter Miami and all pink, looking for an equalizer late in this opening half. We are into minute number 40, home stretch of the opening 45. Busquets 35 yards out, inside left channel, now into the middle. Short range pass Messi. Toe pokes it onto Redondo, right back to Busquets. Busquets chips a ball onto Messi to the left of the penalty arc, and that was taken away by Diaz, and then Segovia with a clunky fall from behind, and a quick restart for Minnesota United. Lionel Messi, the frustration starting to show again against New York Red Bulls after that 4-1 victory. He marched off the field, did not converse with anybody. A lot of discussion about that this week. Quick throw in far touchline left side for Minnesota United, and Noah Allen has to concede a corner as he was trying to battle around Tani Uluwashai, and that big long frame, Uluwashai was able to force Noah Allen into swiping at the ball with a left foot across the far end line. This will be a far side to near side corner for Minnesota United to the right attacking third. Pereira will be the Minnesota United delivery service here. Oscar Ustari, Inter Miami's veteran goalkeeper, going body to body with Uluwashai, the outstanding Minnesota United striker. There's the whistle, and now Pereira ready to deliver the Minnesota United corner. This is high into the air, into the middle, and it was headed up and over Ustari's goal. Not quite enough on it. That was Uluwashai, who had backtracked outside the 6-yard area. He was leaning back. His balance wasn't there. He tried to cut it with his right temple, and it's up and over goal, and Oscar Ustari delivers the ball back into play with his right foot. Inter Miami third in goal differential in Major League Soccer, +9 on the season, but trailing 1-0 here, 42-20 on this first half clock. Ken Levicka with you in St. Paul, Minnesota. Jordi Alba left of the box, and he had his retrieval slide tackled away by Jefferson Diaz. That was emphatic. It's going to be an Inter Miami throw-in near touchline left attacking third. It'll be sent to about 30 yards out from Jordi Alba to Noah Allen. Now Lionel Messi retrieves on the right flank, about 32 yards away, spins twice, and on his left foot delivers a pass to the middle. Busquets, who swipes it onto Jordi Alba. Alba from the left. Wanted Messi, who is making a run into the penalty arc. It was headed away, but Noah Allen is back on it for Inter Miami. Only one shot on target in the opening 45 for Inter Miami. Kromoski, right of the box. Short range to Segovia. Segovia is bracketed by three defenders. Was knocked to the ground, but Redondo right there for Inter Miami to keep possession. And then Segovia, a really poor short-range pass. But luckily, Sergio Busquets is there at least to impede Minnesota United for a moment. And now Minnesota United trying to build from the back. Good pursuit from Inter Miami. Noah Allen pushes it off of Longaway of Minnesota United, but it's going to be called off of Allen last, and it's going to be a throw-in for Minnesota United. Julian Gressel, former Inter Miami man, traded 3 weeks ago to Minnesota United, is available today for the home side, just to add a little bit more intrigue into this. We already see here as we welcome you to minute number 44, Tadeo Allende getting loose on Javier Mascherano's touchline, so perhaps a halftime substitution is coming. And a yellow, time wasting, is shown. Our first yellow of the match is shown to Minnesota United. And it's Michael Boxall. Boxall, center back for Minnesota United, was taking his sweet time along the touchline. And he is carded in the 44th minute by the referee, Filip Dujic. But Minnesota United has possession, and now they don't, as Inter Miami. Well, they were called for a foul. I thought there was a clearance. Carlos Harvey was knocked on from behind. Inter Miami needs to find itself in the attack. This has been tough sledding. They have scored both halves, 6 of 10 in MLS play. No other team in Major League Soccer has done that. It's going to be a tall order to see that happening here today. We are already past the 45th minute. We still don't have an indication of added time, which is bizarre. And now Pereira will deliver a free kick along the near right touchline, right attacking third for Minnesota United. A bevy of players top of the area. Here's the free kick into the middle. It is headed by Lujan to the left side of the box. Retrieved, though, by Minnesota United and Carlos Harvey. Harvey wins a throw-in, right attacking third, as he sliced the ball off Noah Allen. And then Harvey getting the crowd up, waving his arms in the air, saying, "Stand up. We are outworking the visitors." Only 31% possession for Minnesota United late in this first half. But they are aggressive. They are making life difficult. And then a point-blank goal off the throw-in. Inter Miami just conceded off a throw-in. It was headed middle of the box to the far post, and it's Anthony Marcanic, who simply had to stand at the mouth of goal and forehead it home. That is going to drive Javier Mascherano insane. 46th minute, 2-0 in favor of Minnesota United, who just scored on a throw-in. It came from the far side. It went off of the head of a flat-footed Nicholas Romero, center back for Minnesota United, and right onto the head of Anthony Marcanic. I mean, where is the marking? Where is the Inter Miami marking? And this is turning into a potentially long afternoon in St. Paul for Inter Miami. Down 2-0, only one shot on target. By the way, there was 2 added minutes. That was attached to the back end of the 45, and all extra time presented by your local South Florida Audi dealers. Test drive the new Q6 e-tron today at your local South Florida Audi dealer. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. We are already past those 2 additional minutes. We are nearing 48 minutes. Here's a ball floated into the box from the center circle, and it flies over everybody. Inter Miami trying to feed something into the area, and it bounces out of play. And there is the final whistle of the opening half, an opening half to forget for Inter Miami. The scoreline, the worst it has looked at halftime all season long for Inter Miami. Inter Miami trails at half for the first time in MLS play all season long. It is 2-0, Minnesota United. Longway and Marcanic score for the home side. Inter Miami has work to do. Mike Rizzo with the halftime show next. It's Inter Miami Radio Network.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
PNC Bank couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. But you may be wondering, isn't PNC that boring bank? Well, is starting a business or being the first person in your family to go to college boring? For 160 years, they've done the occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. That's why they have dedicated teams throughout the local area ready to help you unlock your own brilliance. See what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small? Trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking?
The Thunder have the upper hand in Thunder v. Nuggets. By the way, Thunder Nuggets, it goes well together.
That sounds like a cartoon fast food order. Yeah. Thunder Nuggets. And it's like rainbow chicken nuggets.
Yes, it actually sounds absolutely delicious. And this comes from a guy that does not like ordering nuggets. They say it's all chicken, but I don't necessarily trust it, so I don't order nuggets at any kind of fast food restaurant. But if they named it Thunder Nuggets, they might have you bored.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2, here on ESPN 106.3.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
The pink smoke is in the air. Inter Miami Soccer is on ESPN 106.3. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Welcome on into the Inter Miami halftime report. We are powered by a local South Florida Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. That is AudiOffers.com to learn more. Inter Miami facing their largest deficit at halftime of the year in MLS play. Minnesota United up 2-0. They got a goal early on in the 32nd minute, and then a complete and utter, I would say, miscommunication that happened on a throw-in by Inter Miami. And in the 45th minute, they were able to make technically the 46th minute, they were able to make things 2-0. A throw-in gone wrong. We'll hear all the highlights coming up here in just a second. Wanted to go through a couple of match facts for you folks listening at home. Inter Miami has dominated possession. 73% of the possession has gone the Herons' way. About a quarter, 3/4 of the time in that half, Inter Miami was on the football. 27% of the time, Minnesota United was on it. Now, XG, if you're into that kind of thing, your expected goals, 0.82, almost a full 1 for Minnesota United, and only 0.13 for Inter Miami. Inter Miami has 0 big chances, and there are 8 total shots in the game, 4 on both sides. As I've mentioned, Inter Miami down 2-0. It is their biggest deficit of the season in MLS play. And Javier Mascherano is probably trying to tactically figure things out in the locker room as we speak. Let's go through some highlights. Minnesota United almost started things off within the first 10 minutes of the game, but the goal was waved off. Let's listen to a goal that was called off.
The ball pushes forward through traffic, and a goal for Minnesota United in the box, and they're going to wave it off. It's going to be a foul that's called on Uluwashi. Tani Uluwashi was able to grab a loose ball after all the work that Joaquin Pereira had done to skirt through 3 Inter Miami defenders, and a foul is called. Wipe off the goal, and we remain 0-0.
Shortly after that, the Herons had a chance with Lionel Messi. This was one of the first shots of the half. Let's take a listen to Messi involved on the play.
Now Messi, he tried to feed back post from the far side outside the area. It floated over the head of Redondo, who was making a run. St. Clair dove. He thought that maybe that was destined for goal, and it flies out of play. And it'll be a goal kick for Minnesota United. That ends up being the best opportunity of the day for Inter Miami, and that Lionel Messi pass did not find the target.
Couple of chances like that within the first half where an Inter Miami player was not able to get on the other side of a pass. Jordi Alba had a couple of beautiful lob passes that could have, crosses, grounder crosses, lob passes. More often than not, though, they were on the ground to the opposite side to the far post, and no Inter Miami player was able to get on the end of it. Let's take a listen to a far post opportunity created by Jordi Alba early on in the first half.
Busquets threads the needle on a pass. Redondo to the left of the box. Alba, left foot cross. It was tipped in front by the keeper, St. Clair. He made a mess of it, but then as Segovia approached the ball, it got contacted out of play across the end line.
So unable to get on the end of one of those Alba passes. I apologize, folks. I do not have the second one, but there was another opportunity in that first half where Alba basically flung his arms up in disgust. It was to Benjamin Kromaski on the back post. In my opinion, probably the best chance that they had in that first half to score a goal, but it did not happen. And like I said, apologies, do not have that one, but I sadly do have the highlight of Minnesota United making it 1-0 in the 32nd minute.
Right touchline, right attacking third, Minnesota United. A pass slithers through to Harvey. He plays it to the right of the 6-yard box and a goal. It beats Ustari, who was kept out on the near post, but it was blasted far post. That was a beautiful buildup, and it's Longway. Bonga hook lay long way for Minnesota United. Tags Inter Miami for a third time this year. Only the third goal conceded away by the Herons, and it's 1-0 Minnesota United. They've barely had possession, and they have the lead. 32nd minute.
To Ken's point, Inter Miami, as I've already stated, 73% of the time was on the ball in the first half. Time of possession completely with the Herons, but Minnesota United able to do more with it. Now, I talked earlier about the throw-in gone wrong. This was a throw-in gone right, from Minnesota United. Nicholas Romero on the throw-in gets it to Anthony Markanich, and a second goal for Minnesota United in the first half.
On to Messi. Messi in the penalty arc. Messi right foot and a diving stop. Dane St. Clair. It wasn't particularly troublesome, but St. Clair had to go to ground to gather it in his chest. And there is Inter Miami's first shot on target of this match, and it comes just shy of 40 minutes in. From inside the penalty arc, Lionel Messi with his non-dominant right foot. That was asking a lot of him to try and score from that.
Rather, I apologize. That was Lionel Messi with a right foot shot on target saved by Minnesota's keeper. Let's now hear the header gone right and gone wrong for Inter Miami.
They are aggressive. They are making life difficult. And then a point-blank goal off the throw-in. Inter Miami just conceded off a throw-in. It was headed middle of the box to the far post, and it's Anthony Markanich who simply had to stand at the mouth of goal and forehead it home. That is going to drive Javier Mascherano insane. 46th minute, 2-0 in favor of Minnesota United, who just scored on a throw-in.
Obviously, Mascherano not going to be happy about that one, folks. That is 2-0, the scoreline, heading on into the second half, the largest deficit that Inter Miami has faced in an MLS fixture this season. So we'll have to wait and see if Mascherano is going to make some adjustments. I heard Ken, before we took a timeout and flipped it to me, Tadeo Allende was warming up on the sideline. We'll keep a close eye on substitutions in that second half. Once again, we're about to send it back to Ken Levico, who is pitch side in Minnesota, and our OG, our on-site producer, Oscar Gonzalez. I told you already, we are powered by our local South Florida Audi dealers. Get on out to your local South Florida Audi dealer today. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. AudiOffers.com to learn more. Pull into that lot at Chase Stadium in style with the brand new Q6 e-tron. 2-0, that scoreline. Allende was warming up the last we heard from Ken. Will Inter Miami make some changes? We'll find out with the second half right after the break.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
At PNC Bank, they pride themselves on being boring. But the truth is, they couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. For nearly 160 years, they've quietly toiled away to deliver brilliant results for their equally brilliant clients. Now, their dedicated financial teams are ready to do the boring work to help you unlock your own brilliance. Let's see what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
It's Inter Miami Soccer on ESPN 106.3. Let's get back to the pitch. Here's Ken LaVicka.
Now, that was not a first half that Inter Miami is going to be pleased with at all. A 2-0 lead for Minnesota United as Inter Miami is about to come in from the tunnel where there is still some very, very vociferous discussion and some exaggerated body language, hand movements coming from some of the veteran members of the squad, still trying to sort things out from what I'm sure was a spirited locker room at the break. 2-0, Minnesota United over Inter Miami. The second concession coming late in the first half off of a throw-in that was headed twice in the box and tapped home. And there was, as we discussed in the first half, a lot made, and by the way, Ken LaVicka back with you in St. Paul, Minnesota, Allianz Field. A lot made of the body language. Lionel Messi openly showing his frustration at the end of that New York Red Bulls triumph, 4-1 victory for Inter Miami last Saturday. Well, there is a lot of head shaking from Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba as they come out of the tunnel. It is certainly open. The frustration is there. You understand it. Inter Miami is going to need to channel something positive here in the second half. Both teams have made halftime substitutions. Josef Rosales is in for the goal scorer, the second goal scorer for Minnesota United in the opening half, Mark Kanik. He is subbed off. And Tadeo Allende, as we suspected was going to happen, is now in the match as well. And waiting to see who was taken off for Inter Miami. I believe it might be Redondo, but I'll try and get confirmation on that. And I was correct. It is Federico Redondo, whose day is done. Tadeo Allende joins the attack, or, well, in theory, joins the attack that has really been non-existent for Inter Miami. Only one shot on target through 45 minutes of football. We are back underway from Allianz Field in St. Paul with Oscar Gonzalez, on-site engineer. I am Ken LaVicka. Great job, as always, to Mike Rizzo. He had the halftime for you here on the Inter Miami Radio Network. Inter Miami not only faces its largest halftime deficit of the MLS season, it's their only halftime deficit of the MLS year. They have not trailed to this point after 45. Here's a cross from right of the box. Weigand onto Messi. Messi immediately double-teamed outside the area. Busquets now to the left angle, top of the box. Played it into the middle for Messi. His shot with the left foot is blocked right outside the penalty arc, trying to take ambitious attempts. Good sliding tackle from Busquets to get Inter Miami the ball back in the right attacking third. Inter Miami going left to right in the attack. Weigand floats the ball left side of the box. Segovia got a head on it. Defenders collapsed on him quickly. The ball falls to Messi. To the left of the box, Alba, low cross, and that's cleared away out of play across the far touchline. It'll be an attacking third throw, and in the frustration evident for Jordi Alba as he slams his hands into his hips. He was trying to pick out Messi or Segovia. Both were making runs near post. We are a minute into the second half. 2-0. Minnesota United leads Inter Miami. Messi left puts it to the top of the box. That was punched out by Minnesota United. It's headed on to Alba left of the area. More dominant possession for Inter Miami and no shots to show for it. Busquets from the left side into the middle about 30 yards out. Laid off for Messi. He charges to the left. He had to give it up short range. Busquets, heavy touch. Busquets, though, was able to push it enough onto Alba. Now Messi left side of the box. Messi drags, gives it off Segovia. Segovia was triple teamed, able to give it to Weigand. Weigand with a bad touch outside the box right side. It is defended away, but onto Yannick Bright. Inter Miami right attacking third, but cannot find a shot. Now Messi in the middle. Messi left foot scores! He was fed from the left of the box, and he swipes his left foot into it, and he's able to tuck it inside the post. Lionel Messi on an assist from Jordi Alba has brought Inter Miami to within a goal. There's life, there's a pulse, and it happens 2 minutes into the second half. 2-1 Minnesota United. all of that possession, all of that time pushing and probing, and finally, Inter Miami scores. Alba fed Messi left side of the box, and he swiped it left foot to that near post, that right post. And that was set up on a wonderful step-over playthrough from Segovia. Alba delivered. Segovia looked like he was going to put a touch on it. Instead, he overstepped the ball. That allowed just enough room for Messi to one touch and then score with his left foot. So Inter Miami is right back in it, and it only took 2 minutes. But now Inter Miami needs to keep defending, need to keep attacking, and Yannick Bright was fouled as he was tracking down Pereira for Minnesota United, left of the box. In the Minnesota United left attacking third, and Inter Miami will build from the back. 2-1, Lionel Messi with his second goal in as many matches after a 4-outing drought. That's his 5th tally of the season after 20 a year ago. Kromoski to Weigott, near right touchline on the border of the right attacking third. Inter Miami's going to push it back into the midfield. Minnesota United on the season now, a -4 goal differential in the second half. Here's a steal, though, in the midfield. Coming up the far right touchline, Minnesota United, it's Robin Ludd. And it was Noah Allen who came up and was able to at least hold up Ludd and tow the ball out of play. And Minnesota United has to settle for a throw-in just inside the midfield stripe, attacking side, left side of the pitch. Minnesota United trying to work it up close range along the far touchline right side. A beautiful ball in a long away from the right of the box. He skies a cross that was chested down by Weigott, far post, and he nearly scored on his own goal. Ustari had to range over, took himself against the post, and catch it on a hop. That was dangerous. Part of the issue is that Oluwaseyi was looming and lurking. I think that had Weigott hearing footsteps. He got a little concerned, and that was scary. So now a throw-in for Minnesota United after the ball is sent out of play, near right touchline. It'll be Lujan who heads it to about 30 yards away. And after a playthrough, Ludd was trying to go 1-2 with Oluwaseyi, and it was off the mark, and Ustari corrals for Inter Miami, the goalkeeper, and now Inter Miami quickly into the right attacking half. 2-1 Minnesota United. It was 2-0 at halftime. Inter Miami took 2 minutes coming out of the locker room to put the ball in the back into that, courtesy of guess who? Lionel Messi. Now Messi has it near right touchline, playing striker and receiving the ball 35 yards out. Not as intended, but it's the necessity right now with no Suarez and no Pico. Inter Miami, right attacking half. Good hustle by Weigott. He keeps his footing after battling with Pereira, but could not get by Pereira. But Inter Miami wins it right back thanks to Lionel Messi. In the right flank, Weigott nearly took a boot to the face. He was popped up into the air and out of play. Across the touchline near side by Minnesota. Throw in Inter Miami. From 40 yards out, straight on, Noah Allen. Out of Jordi Alba. Alba floats it into the box. It was headed high into the air by Minnesota United. Busquets pushed it right back into the box with his head. And then a whistle, and we have Busquets down in the penalty arc. Play stops. There was contact with the head, says our referee, Filip Dujic. And Busquets is grabbing at his mouth. So in the 51st minute, with Inter Miami trailing by a goal 2-1, Busquets took a shot to the jaw area, it appears, the chin, and it was Will Trapp who got him with a forearm or an elbow. It was not intentional. Trapp was going up for the ball as well, but an inopportune point of contact. As Javier Mascherano looks on, can't imagine what's going through his head. Surely he hears the noise after the CONCACAF Champions Cup ouster at the hands of Vancouver. And then a lackluster opening half here today in Minnesota. But his team is showing fight. Sergio Busquets just won a ball back as Minnesota United was barely into the left attacking half. Here comes Jordi Alba up the left wing. Alba, he had it swiped away by Jefferson Diaz. And then Diaz turns and delivers a ball up the far touchline. That rolls out of bounds. And Inter Miami's going to throw it in from their attacking half. And it'll be delivered into the defensive half left side of the pitch by Noah Allen. Welcome to minute number 53. Ken Levicka here with you in St. Paul, Minnesota. 2-1 Minnesota United on top. Inter Miami, its second meeting all time with the Loons. Near side to far side pass from Busquets. Inter Miami has it with Noah Allen, who holds up play for a moment. And he'll left foot windshield wiper it into the center circle. Now Busquets looks straight on. He's going to go from the middle to the left side and aired ball to Alba. A Karam bounced right on to Tadeo Allende, who tried to blast it from the top of the box. That was deflected high into the air and onto the goalkeeper, Dane St. Clair, who distributed immediately. Good job by Inter Miami to shield the ball away from Uluwashai, and it'll be a throw-in for Inter Miami. Tani Uluwashai, so talented, so strong, so gifted, and Javier Mascherano openly fist-pumping as Weigott and Bright wiped out that opportunity. Inter Miami once again into the right attacking half. And Segovia's called for a foul as Jefferson Diaz went up to try and head a ball. Segovia, though, was just standing there. He has every right to this ball. It's Diaz who comes flying in completely recklessly. He upends himself on the shoulder of Segovia, who, again, did not make any move towards Diaz. And the Minnesota United right back is going to get the benefit of a foul called against Segovia. I mean, come on. So we head to the 55th minute. Both sides have made substitutions. For Inter Miami, Federico Redondo came off. Tadeo Allende has substituted on. And Josef Rosales in the midfield for Minnesota United with Marcanic subbed off. Alan Abando, he is warming up. Julian Gressel, the former Inter Miami man, is getting loose for Minnesota United. Gressel, who did not see a single second of action for Inter Miami in this 2025 season, was dealt just a few weeks ago to Minnesota United. And they are still looking at Jefferson Diaz, the Minnesota United physios. Let's take 10 seconds. 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. This is Inter Miami football on the Inter Miami Radio Network.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Allianz Field, St. Paul, Minnesota. I am Ken Levicka. It is Minnesota United 2, Inter Miami 1. We have just put ourselves into the realm of minute number 56. And Kelvin Yeboah is going to be the newest Minnesota United Loon to come into the match, I believe, replacing the afflicted Jefferson Diaz, who threw his body into Inter Miami's Talasco Segovia, upended himself, landed on his hip, and now he is departing. So Yeboah is going to replace Diaz. Diaz, who looks like he probably has something resembling a hip pointer. That will add significant time, I would imagine. That took a while. To the back end of this second 45. 2-1 Minnesota United leads. It was a 2-0 advantage for the home side at halftime. Here's a long ball forward into the attacking half. Kremoski, before it could get to him, had a Minnesota United defender interfere, deflect the ball, and now Minnesota United across the midfield stripe near side left attacking half. Here's Rosales. Under the touchline, Yeboah left side. Good feed. Pereira, his cross. It went off of Ustari on the near post. It was mishit, and it hit the Inter Miami goalkeeper with Uluwashai making a strong run on that post, and now Inter Miami quickly on the move, on the counter. Right attacking half near side. Kremoski into the inside left channel. Messi meanders, traverses, gives it off left wing Segovia. He's going to push it on to a late charging Alba. Now back to Segovia. Segovia on his right foot heads far side to the middle. Segovia threads the needle on a pass. Weygott. He'll deliver to the box from the right side. That's headed away by Minnesota United. Weygott is going to retrieve and keep it in play along the touchline, but he's about 35 yards away from goal, and he's going to deliver it to the right of the center circle. Lujan now into the center circle. Busquets retrieves a short-range pass. Popping out to take it on the left wing, Segovia. Inter Miami on the ball. Alba left of the box. His cross was deflected, and Minnesota United gives it away right away to Yannick Bright for Inter Miami, and here come the Herons again. Weygott. Right wing, no particular hurry here for Inter Miami. What a gift that early second half goal was. You don't have to be crazy urgent here. You can take your time. We are halfway through the 58th minute. 2-1 Minnesota United. Messi drags to the top of the penalty arc. Messi feeds it Bright right side of the box. He delivered it to the edge of the 6-yard area, and it was cleared away by Minnesota United. He might have thought about maybe challenging goal Yannick Bright. Inter Miami, though, stays in possession, though the ball is bandied all the way into the left defensive half. Noah Allen maneuvers his way back into the attacking side. It is all Inter Miami right now. One pass too many potentially from Yannick Bright. Good marking by Minnesota United in the box. Here's Lujan right up the middle, and the Inter Miami center back. Into the right attacking half for Weygott. Weygott pushes it right of the box. Bright. Beautiful back heel onto Weygott. Weygott, he crosses to the penalty spot. Could not find Segovia, who is coming on. It's cleared away across the near right touchline by Minnesota United. They are doing desperate defending right now, and Inter Miami with the throw-in. That was beautiful 1-2 action between Bright and Weygott on that near side. So Inter Miami surges forward again. Right attacking half is still where they take up real estate. Segovia for Inter Miami. We have hit the hour mark. Good ball, Busquets. To the left of the area, Alba. And Alba could not make a play on it. He was elbowed in the face by Longwene. The referee says that Jordi Alba had a right to be upset, but there's no foul on the play, and it's going to be a goal kick as the ball rolled across that far end line. Dane St. Clair for Minnesota United will launch it away, or at least get it back into play. Now, Minnesota United, they have conceded in the second half this season 10 times. They came into today tied for fourth in Major League Soccer in most second half goals conceded. And Lionel Messi's goal in the 57th minute has made that number even greater. Goal number 5 on the year for the greatest of all time. But Inter Miami's going to need another to draw level. The best road side in Major League Soccer is Inter Miami. That is teetering here today. A giveaway by Inter Miami. Left attacking half, Pereira. A nice feed left side of the box, but a better defensive play, Noah Allen, as he cut in front of Yeboah, who was trying to lurk, and then Allen got knocked down from behind, and a foul is called on Joaquin Pereira of Minnesota United. So Inter Miami goes back to work. Just absolutely dominating possession, trailing 2-1. But again, the vibes feel a lot better after that Messi goal in the 57th minute. Messi, about 35 yards away onto Weygott. He'll push it right side of the box. Kremoski, that was a nifty delivery. Kremoski holds up play, gives it off Weygott. Now on the right wing, Busquets. Busquets about 10 yards away from the penalty area. Off to Bright, and now Inter Miami goes to work on the far side. Half the field near side in shadows, the far side all lit in sun. Busquets in the shaded part, now to Messi on the right wing. Messi, step over. Messi, nifty little chip on a Kremoski outside the box right side. Now even with the box, Weygott with a cross. That was put up high in the air, and as it got to the 6-yard box, it was punched up about 12 feet. And Dane St. Clair leaping over Yannick Bright to make the catch at the crossbar. I give Minnesota United credit. They put bodies on the ball defensively. They came into today 113 clearances, second in MLS. That number is getting larger and larger by the sequence as Inter Miami has more and more of the ball. Yannick Bright for Inter Miami to the right attacking half, and Allende with a really heavy poor touch gave it right back to Minnesota United. But there's Sergio Busquets, who has had one heck of a day with the steal. And now Inter Miami, right side of the pitch, attacking half. On the left wing, shrouded in sunlight. Now to Messi. Messi on to Busquets to the far left touchline, about 30 yards out. It is Segovia. Now Messi gives it off short range after brief possession, has it back from Segovia. Him and Segovia just go quick back and forth. Alba joins a passing triangle. 64th minute, 2-1 Minnesota United. And Inter Miami is going to have to play it back, and they'll try the other side, the near side, right side. Lujan on the wing. Now to the touchline on that side of Wagon. Wagon pushes it right of the box. Segovia comes to retrieve. He's everywhere. Segovia sends it to the border of the box right side. That's where it is touched by Kremoski to Wagon, who sends a high cross all the way across the area onto Messi. Now Alba. Messi had it fed right back to him. Now Busquets lays it off for Allen. Allen will spray it near side. Wagon on the run. Good touchdown, and his cross attempt is out of play near side. It'll be a corner across the end line for Inter Miami. Wagon, good movement. Inter Miami corners brought to you by Lotto Rider Smith Ivy and Fronrath, representing injured people and their families for more than 35 years. Visit foryourrights.com. Short corner for Inter Miami. Messi rolls it to the penalty arc. Alba shot, and it goes 10 rows into the stands behind Dane St. Clair's goal. Now Alba decided to give it a rip, but it was always rising and always sailing. Chicago has beaten Atlanta at 2-1. Toronto with a 2-0 advantage on DC United. Philadelphia and Columbus in a big one tonight, 7:30 from just outside the city of brotherly love. Cincinnati and Austin get going at 7:30 as well. And then a full slate of action for the rest of the weekend. A busy weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Hope everybody is planned appropriately. Oh, Messi, a rare poor touch. The ball flew off his knee after Allende sent a hot, sizzling pass from the far side to just outside the penalty arc, and Messi completely flubbed it. And then Minnesota United, after collecting possession, foul. Javier Mascherano is crouched and has his head in hands right now. This is a passionate Inter Miami group. There is a lot of competitiveness. There are a lot of expectations. We know that. The outward noticeable body language has certainly picked up since the loss to Vancouver, second leg, especially that performance of the semifinal in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It is a long season, goal still intact. This team needs to understand that. Need to shield themselves from the outside noise, which has gotten louder and louder. A giveaway. Minnesota United collects a turnover in the left attacking half. Pereira bodies Lujan off the ball, and he's still going. Pereira into the right side of the box. He crosses, and a goal-saving clearance on the back post by Wagon. Yeboah was surging, streaking towards goal on a beautiful delivery from Pereira, and it was Wagon who was able to stick out his left foot and avoid that potential assist from linking up, and Inter Miami will certainly settle for a Minnesota United corner. It'll come near side to far side. And it's going to be handled by Joaquin Pereira. He is a lefty, and he delivers the corner to the middle of the box. It's headed to the back post, and an own goal for Wagon. It's an own goal for Wagon. Marcelo Wagon headed it into his own goal, and it's 3-1 Minnesota United. Wagon has his shirt over his face. He can't believe it, and that is as deflating as you could possibly imagine. And Minnesota United restores the 2-goal advantage. The corner was headed in the box by Uluwaseyi. And then Weigott trying to clear, and he hit top netting. And now the road back seems incredibly treacherous. A long ball into the box. Allende can't get there, and Dane St. Clair falls on it. The Minnesota United keeper. Now this is going to be quite a potential season-defining road trip here for Inter Miami if they can't come back in this one. You score 2 minutes in the second half to pull to within one. You've been in complete command. You've had the ball the entire second half. And off of a corner, Inter Miami, an own goal from Weigott after, at the end of the first half, Inter Miami conceded a goal off of a throw-in. So in the 69th minute, 3-1, Minnesota United. And for Inter Miami, the questions about the attack are not going to go away. Inter Miami in their last 4 old competitions have conceded 11 times. The 4-3 loss to FC Dallas, 3-1 to Vancouver, 4-1 the victory New York Red Bull. As Minnesota's looking for more, and they do have it! A blast from outside the top of the box, Robin Ludd, the all-time leading goal scorer for Minnesota United. Sent a missile past Ustari, who slams his water bottle into the turf. Inter Miami's being blown out. It's a collapse. It's 4-1 Minnesota United in the 70th minute. Oh my goodness. The defense has fractured. Uluwaseyi was able to box out Noah Allen in the left attacking third. Noah Allen's had his handfuls all day. Rolled a pass to the top of the penalty arc where Ludd with his left foot absolutely torpedoed a shot right past Ustari inside the post. A sprawling, diving Ustari who never stood a chance. Robin Ludd, his first goal of the season, the 33rd in a Minnesota United shirt. That's his 59th goal contribution in MLS play in his career. And this is a done deal, it appears. Inter Miami is in all likelihood going to, as Lionel Messi in the penalty arc, trying to find room for a shot. He does, but it was deflected. And St. Clair dives to his right to caress it into his chest. This is going to be the first road defeat in MLS play for Inter Miami this season. And now they face the prospect of having to fly to California. Minnesota United now looking for more as they try to bully Inter Miami. Now, Inter Miami has certainly shown vulnerability today against a big, strong striker. Tani Uluwaseyi has done whatever he wants, has got wherever he's wanted to go for Minnesota United. The lack of size in the back from Inter Miami has unfortunately been glaringly obvious today. They've had a hard time containing Uluwaseyi, and that has unlocked other aspects of this Minnesota United attack. 72nd minute, 4-1. Minnesota United leads Inter Miami. Inter Miami pulled to within a goal in the 47th minute. Minnesota United, thanks to an own goal and a Ludd blast, about to put it away. And now a steal, trying to get out on the counter for Minnesota United. That was Songbin Jong, who has just come on. He was dispossessed. Inter Miami back on the ball. Messi is called for a foul as he tried to get to a loose ball outside the box, left of that penalty arc. Oluwaseyi has come off. And Songbin Jong in at the top of the Minnesota United formation. Julian Gressel, former Minnesota United man. He takes Longwene off. Jordi Alba scrambling right side of his own area, trying to win a ball away from oncoming Minnesota United attackers. Did, and now Inter Miami has possession into the midfield. Up the right wing, right attacking half, Messi tried to feed it between two defenders to Yannick Bright. It was tipped away, taken away by Minnesota United. And then Minnesota United, though, is called for a foul as Rosales hip-checked Yannick Bright to the turf as they were both racing up the near left touchline. You can bet Julian Gressel would love to score or at least collect a goal contribution against his former team. Debuted as a substitute last Saturday against Austin, did Gressel in a Minnesota United uniform. Kromaski with a low cross right of the area. Wanted Allende, never got there. And then Minnesota United able to dig that ball out of traffic. But then look at the hustle from Lujan as he bodied a Minnesota United loon away from the ball. And Kromaski has it right of the box along the touchline. Work back out to the right wing. Inter Miami needs to unleash some shots here. Messi to Segovia outside the penalty arc. Segovia could not get it onto his right foot. It was poked away by a Minnesota United defender, but onto Yannick Bright. To the left of the box, Alba. His cross took a deflection, nearly found Segovia. But then it was hit high in the air by Romero into the seats. Across the far end line, it's going to be an Inter Miami corner presented by Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, representing injured people and their families for more than 35 years. Visit foryourrights.com. The thing that stands out since the opening leg of the semifinal of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, Inter Miami looks slow. Vancouver has exploited it and made it obvious, and Minnesota United has done the same thing. We're going to have wholesale substitutions here for Javier Mascherano as he begins to consider the trip to San Jose. Tomas Aviles comes on for Marcelo Wegat, who had the own goal that started this Minnesota United avalanche in the second half. Far side to near side corner. Alba takes it for Inter Miami. It is high and hanging, and nobody got a head on it. My goodness. It was Leo Afonso who has just come off the bench for Inter Miami that completely whiffed on a header. Ian Frey is in as well for Javier Mascherano. Now, this is definitely a gut punch. Minnesota United has shown its athleticism today. Inter Miami, it is clear now, does not fare well against track stars wearing soccer kits. 4-1 Minnesota United leads Inter Miami, minute number 77. Right of the box, Ian Frey was able to bring a ball off his chest, and then Josef Rosales from Minnesota United outside footed it across the end line for Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. Inter Miami corner representing injured people and their families for more than 35 years. Visit foryourrights.com. Lionel Messi in swinging corner if he does take it, near side to far side. Messi taking his time, approaches, strikes, going for the Olympico, and Dane St. Clair goes up and grabs it. Afonso for Inter Miami undercut him, and now St. Clair has something to say to Afonso. The referee comes over to break it up. This crowd has been thrust into a frenzy. Afonso, by the way, came on for Bright. We're looking at the replay right now. Afonso simply going up for the ball, but Afonso does come up and grab the back collar of St. Clair as they were both going to ground. That's a frustration move. And now look out, Minnesota United to play through. And Yeboah was behind the defense momentarily, but a strong recovery from Noah Allen to keep it at 4-1 Minnesota United in minute number 79. Allen tried to clear it, was not able to, but Inter Miami won it back. Here's Busquets, Pereira bothering him. And Inter Miami with the ball popped up to Lujan. Will finally send it at least into the defensive midfield, but Messi could not control it. And here comes Minnesota United again asking questions, trying to play through his trap. And it was Lujan who cut that off, and then I don't know what happened. It was Inter Miami was trying to surge into the attack, but a pass from Ian Frey, not even close to Lionel Messi, and it rolls across the near touchline, and a throw-in coming for Minnesota United as we get into minute number 80. Ian Frey has entered this match for Marcelo Weigott as a Minnesota United player goes down, and a yellow is shown to Ian Frey of Inter Miami. Or no, Gonzalo Lujan. Apologies. So Lujan is in the book. Leo Afonso has come into the game for Inter Miami for Yannick Bright. Tomas Aviles. I mentioned Wigan already. Ian Frey. Subbed out Talasco Segovia. Today, Allende was the opening Inter Miami substitution at halftime as Federico Redondo was pulled off after Inter Miami went to halftime down 2-0. A high free kick from about 42 yards out. Ustari got knocked to the ground. The referee does call a foul. But man, Michael Boxall just took a free shot at Oscar Ustari. A prone Oscar Ustari in the box as he went up to try and catch that heaven-high free kick. Forearm up into the throat of Ustari. Ustari went down hard. The Inter Miami players took exception to that, but it looks like everybody's okay. But there was certainly a high forearm, an unnatural position with that arm. Probably could have been a card. Inter Miami, right, attacking third. Messi lays it off Kremoski. Kremoski chips it left of the area for Alba, tried to float it to the top of the box. It's just crossing and praying right now. Nothing that really has much intention to find the target. Ludd was able to break up that feed. Now Ian Frey. Frey coming from the right side into the box, hard charging. Then he's knocked to the ground, and the referee says, that's not a foul. And the ball went off Frey across the end line. It'll be a goal kick for Minnesota United. And the referee's right. Ian Frey's trying to make something happen. 82nd minute, 4-1 at Minnesota United. Now, Minnesota United has bucked trends in this second half. They came into the day -3 goal differential in the second half. And now look out, the ball's played through and an offside for Minnesota United. It was played from the defensive half. Yeboah was making a vertical run, but he was about 2 steps offside. After Inter Miami dinged Minnesota United opening 2 minutes of the second half to make it a -4 goal differential on the season after halftime for Minnesota United. 2 unanswered for the home side, including an own goal, Marcelo Weigott. And then the Robin Ludd blast from outside the area. Inter Miami right attacking third. Jordi Alba has to swipe a ball all the way past Noah Allen. It rolls into the left defensive half. This will be the first time all year Inter Miami does not get a result away from South Florida. Foul against Sergio Busquets. Sure looked like he was undercut in the Inter Miami attacking midfield by Calvin Yaboa. Yaboa signed as a DP for Minnesota United last July. He has 4 goals this season. Was at Genoa over the last couple of seasons prior to 2024, loaned to Standard Liège, the Belgian League, Augsburg, in Germany, Montpellier, League One in France, and now has found a home at Minnesota United. Minnesota United did not use any of today's starting 11 in any capacity Wednesday night in that 1-0 U.S. Open Cup round of 32 victory at Louisville City. And as if today hasn't been golden enough for Minnesota United, up 4-1 in the 85th minute, the buzz around town has been Darius Randall, the 17-year-old who became the youngest Minnesota United player to ever score a goal with the first team. He had the lone tally in that 1-0 victory over Louisville City. A foul at the border of the right attacking half as Allende was struck and went to ground. And now he's clutching at his face, and he is in discomfort. Allende, since coming on, and he took an elbow, a high elbow, battling for a ball. The elbow belonged to Carlos Harvey, Minnesota United midfielder. But since coming on at halftime, Allende has been quiet once again. We've said it before, we'll say it again. He's not been the same since that injury he suffered at Atlanta United early in the year, that dramatic victory for Inter Miami. He had an issue, muscle-related, on that artificial surface. Here's Messi delivering a ball into the box, flicked on by Allende. But it was a weak roller. It was going to be wide a goal, and it's fallen on by the Minnesota United keeper, Dane St. Clair. And Inter Miami looked like it certainly was going to climb back in this match, find an equalizer before Marcelo Weigott own goal. And then everything collapsed like a house of cards after that. A house of cards in a hurricane, to channel my inner Ray Hudson. I hope you'd be proud of that. Into minute number 86. A match that has been long decided. Minnesota United 4, Inter Miami 1. Getting back to something I had mentioned earlier. Actually, if you want to extrapolate it all the way back to April 24th, first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal, Inter Miami has conceded 14 times in 5 matches, all competitions. That is, to me, officially a problem. So there's been a lot of discussion about Inter Miami, the attack. Can anybody outside of Lionel Messi generate threatening sequences? Well, right now, Javier Mascherano, and he has alluded to it, he certainly has some significant defensive red flags he's going to need to address. 14 goals conceded in the last 5 matches, all competitions. Yikes. Back and forth we go. The ball pinballs in the midfield. Inter Miami on it in the right attacking half. It's worked to Messi. Messi charges into the box. Messi had it slidden away. Right portion of the area, much to the crowd's delight. It goes across the touchline near side for a throw-in. Ian Frey tried to deliver a cross from the right of the box. And that was headed away. Nicholas Romero was credited with the tackle for Minnesota United on that Lionel Messi 1v1 attempt. Here's Messi on the right flank. He's about even with the right side of the box extended. Now Inter Miami will roll it back near the center circle for Jordi Alba. He turns the corner, plays it to Frey. Frey could not get there. He is going to be bodied off the ball by Rosales, and then Frey's called for a foul contact from behind. 88 and a half minutes gone. And Inter Miami can't wait to get out of this building. An inauspicious turn of events on this match day when Fafa Pico, who was in all likelihood going to be in the 11 for Javier Mascherano, started battling a migraine. Not available today. And Inter Miami, despite having immense amounts of possession, I mean prodigious amounts of possession, find themselves on the wrong end of a lopsided score line, 4-1. Now that possession has since evened a bit. But back when this game was still competitive, Inter Miami, at the point where it was 2-1 right before the corner that turned into the Weygott own goal, Inter Miami was flirting with 74% possession. I mean, that's absurd. Inter Miami gives it away at the border of their attacking third, right side of this well-manicured natural grass here in St. Paul. Kickoff temperature was 74 degrees. Beautiful conditions. Unfortunately, just an ugly result here for Inter Miami. By the way, Inter Miami has completed 711 passes today to Minnesota United's 269. That's right, almost 500 more passes for Inter Miami, and it's 4-1 Minnesota United. 3 additional minutes as we cross the threshold of 90 here on this Saturday in St. Paul. Extra time presented by your local South Florida Audi dealers. Test drive the new Q6 e-tron today at your local South Florida Audi dealer or visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. By the way, from a pure football but also human standpoint, as Minnesota United charges towards goal, Tomas Aviles broke up a potential goal-scoring opportunity. Now a shot from Pereira, left of the penalty arc, and his left-footed attempt right at Oscar Ustari for Inter Miami. But from a football and human standpoint, wanted to pass along our well wishes to Savi King of Angel City FC in the NWSL, who suffered a serious medical emergency during a 2-0 victory over Utah Royals last night. King is alert, responsive, with family after being stretchered off of the pitch, brought off on a cart after receiving what appeared to be emergency medical attention. Lionel Messi for Inter Miami, right side of the box, dispossessed. It has been a rough day for Messi outside of his goal in the 47th minute. But our thoughts and our continued positive discourse directed towards Savi King of Angel City. The cheering you hear in the background is a round of applause for a tenacious defensive effort from Will Trapp of Minnesota United, making Lionel Messi's life extremely difficult. Now an in-swinging corner near side to far side, and that was headed away by Minnesota United. All Inter Miami corners brought to you by Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath. Minnesota United looking for a fifth to blow the roof off this place. They're in the left attacking half, and now as Looked like they were trying to get out on the counter. Inter Miami has brought numbers back, and Minnesota United's going to just tick off the final seconds. They're nearly through 3 full minutes. We don't even get to 3 full minutes. The referee blows his whistle, and that is a wrap here in St. Paul. Inter Miami melts down in the second half. An own goal from Marcelo Weigand after Lionel Messi brought Inter Miami within a goal right out of the locker room at 2-1, but the Weigand own goal and then the Robin Ludd missile shot with a left foot from outside the box, and Inter Miami falls away from South Florida for the first time in 2025 in MLS play. Minnesota United 4, Inter Miami 1. And so now questions abound for Inter Miami. They're going to have to regroup. You don't know if Luis Suarez will be available on Wednesday. The man of the match is going to be Longwane of Inter Miami. Ongluglake Longwane, who had the opening goal of this match, and he was a pest in the attack for Minnesota United all afternoon long. And Inter Miami, 4th in the East. That is in all likelihood going to change before the Herons take to the pitch Wednesday night against San Jose. Lionel Messi with his 5th goal of the season. It came in the 47th minute, but that's the only bright spot for the visitors today. They go to St. Paul, and Minnesota United, they're second in the West for a reason, and they have now jumped ahead of Inter Miami in the Supporters Shield table as well. 22 points to Inter Miami's 21 points. And while Inter Miami had its opportunities, it all fractured and splintered after the Weigand own goal, and Inter Miami never regained its footing. So Inter Miami has some soul searching to do and some fortitude to find. A long flight coming to Northern California. Will it be the first time that Lionel Messi makes an appearance in San Jose? We'll find out. I want to thank Oscar Gonzalez, the OG, our on-site engineer. I'm Ken LaVicka. Mike Rizzo has your post-game next. Your final score line for a final time from Allianz Field in St. Paul, Minnesota. Minnesota United 4, Inter Miami 1. It's Inter Miami football.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Don't miss Russo and Rizzo.
It is Scott Van Pelt joining the program now.
Where'd you go to school?
Ohio State. You guys wanted to run Ryan Day. In my defense.
Here we go.
Okay. 4 straight to Michigan. You know what that rivalry means.
I do. You know what's cooler than gold pants? A gold trophy.
Get a hold of yourself. I know. I'll lose
you won a title. He's vindicated. My God, you beat Tennessee. You beat Oregon.
Texas, yes.
And then you beat
Scott Iverson.
Oh, we didn't beat Michigan. Yeah. Who gives a?
I ate the crow.
It's Russo and Rizzo, weekdays at 4 here on ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
PNC Bank couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. But you may be wondering, isn't PNC that boring bank? Well, is starting a business or being the first person in your family to go to college boring? For 160 years, they've done the occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. That's why they have dedicated teams throughout the local area ready to help you unlock your own brilliance. See what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
The pink smoke is in the air. This is the Inter Miami Postgame Show. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Inter Miami for the first time all season long dropping points on the road. Inter Miami losing 4-1 to Minnesota United. We got the highlights if you want to hear them. First and second half highlights about to come your way here on the Inter Miami Radio Network. Welcome on into the postgame show. I am Mike Rizzo, and we are powered by our local South Florida Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. Test drive the brand new Q6 e-tron. Let's get you your match facts brought to you by Audi. Inter Miami dominated possession 73% of the time. Inter Miami had the ball in the match, comparatively to 27% of Minnesota United. If you're into XG, 0.94 XG for Minnesota United compared to 0.35 for Inter Miami. Obviously, United was able to score 4 goals in the game. There were 18 total shots on the game. Inter Miami had 10. Minnesota United had 8. 2 big chances in the game, all on the Minnesota United side. No big chances for the Inter Miami Herons. Hwangwale scored in the 32nd minute, making it 1-0. He had a yellow card on Minnesota United. Michael Boxall, the captain, in the 45th. Anthony Markanrich in the 45th made it 2-0 right before the half. Nicholas Romero with the assist. Folks, who was off of a throw-in. A couple of substitutions on the side for Minnesota and our Inter Miami Herons. Joseph Rosales came on for Anthony Markanrich. And then for our Herons at the 46th minute, Tadio Allende coming on for Federico Redondo. Javier Mascherano trying to go more offense in that second half with the score being 2-0. Lionel Messi did find the back of the net. That was the 45th minute, 2-1 at the time. It was assisted by Jordi Alba. Kelvin Yeboah came on for Jefferson Diaz. Marcelo Wiggin had an own goal, 3-1 Minnesota. Robin Ladd, 4-1 Minnesota. And then all of the coaches emptying their benches. Javier Mascherano and Minnesota United. Songbin Hwang came on for Tanwi Oluwise in the 71st minute. Julian Gressel, the former Inter Miami Heron, coming on for Bakuuli Hwangwan. He won the man of the match too. Hwangi had a great game. Certainly one of the more, I think, active Minnesota United players in the game. Ian Frey came out for Chelo Wiggin. Leo Afonso came on for Yannick Bright. Toto Aviles for Talasco Segovia. We had a yellow card in the 80th minute by Gonzalo Luan, and that will do it on the match facts of the game. Folks, when we return right here on the Inter Miami postgame show, we'll hear first half highlights. Your way next.
Powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P530 Dynamic SE, a luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $1529 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $1529 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
PNC Bank couldn't be more excited to serve the South Florida community. But you may be wondering, isn't PNC that boring bank? Well, is starting a business or being the first person in your family to go to college boring? For 160 years, they've done the occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results for their clients. That's why they have dedicated teams throughout the local area ready to help you unlock your own brilliance. See what boring banking can do for you. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
The pink smoke is in the air. This is the Inter Miami postgame show. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Inter Miami dropping points for the first time all season on the road, losing to Minnesota United 4-1 on the game. Welcome on back to the postgame show. Mike Rizzo here. We are powered by our local South Florida Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com to learn more. That is AudiOffers.com to learn more. It's time to go through those highlights presented by Audi. Let's hear the first chance of the game. This was Lionel Messi in the first half. Messi in the first half certainly was able to make his presence known. Let's put it this way, wasn't the game I think that Lionel Messi was expecting. Remember going into this game, Messi was walking off of the pitch kind of angry. You saw it visibly on his face. But let's go to that first half chance with Lionel Messi.
Now Messi, he tried to feed back post from the far side outside the area. It floated over the head of Redondo, who was making a run. St. Clair dove. He thought that maybe that was destined for goal, and it flies out of play. And it'll be a goal kick for Minnesota United. That ends up being the best opportunity of the day for Inter Miami, and that Lionel Messi pass did not find the target.
Messi certainly was active, as I've mentioned, but it was Minnesota United's game. Minnesota United was able to find the back of the net here in the 30-ish minute. This is 1-0 on the game right now as we are on the highlights. Let's take a listen real quick here on the Inter Miami Radio Network, brought to you by our good friends at Audi.
The ball pushes forward through traffic, and a goal for Minnesota United in the box, and they're going to wave it off. It's going to be a foul that's called on Uluwashi. Tani Uluwashi was able to grab a loose ball after all the work that Joaquin Pereira had done to skirt through 3 Inter Miami defenders, and a foul is called. Wipe off the goal, and we remain 0-0.
Goal was waved off. Minnesota United, though, did not wait long in order to get their first goal of the game. They certainly were on the run for what seemed like majority of the game, and Minnesota United was able to make this 1-0 in the first half.
The ball pushes forward through traffic, and a goal for Minnesota United in the box, and they're going to wave it off.
Rather, I apologize, folks. Certainly, my equipment is failing me. This is what we call a hashtag operator error. Regardless, the first goal of the game was scored by Minnesota United in that 32nd minute, and it was Hawangawani. He was the one who got the man of the match at the end of the game. The 2-0 goal, as we said, was Anthony Marconrich. Lionel Messi making things 2-1, and then Minnesota United was not to be denied after they conceded their first goal, because 2 straight goals in a row for Minnesota. Robin Lund made it 4-1, and then obviously the own goal by Marcello Wigan. Let's take our final time out of the game. This is Inter Miami Radio Network.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000-square-foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Beach. Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
The pink smoke is in the air. This is the Inter Miami postgame show. Here's Mike Rizzo.
Apologies on my technical difficulties here back in the City Place studios. This is the postgame show here on the Inter Miami Radio Network. We will be hearing the highlights next game. So our next game coming up is Wednesday. That's a 10:30 kickoff. I'm going to be in here on Wednesday at 10 p.m. I will have those highlights ready to go from this one. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't even want to hear them, but Minnesota United beating our Herons 4-1. We will catch up with those highlights next game. Inter Miami playing 2 more games before this time next week. You got the derby on Saturday against Orlando, and then on Wednesday, I mentioned Inter Miami traveling to San Jose. So once again, apologize for the technical difficulties. We will bring back those highlights coming up here on Wednesday at 10 o'clock on the Inter Miami Radio Network. We're going to be licking our wounds after this loss, but certainly whole season still in front for our Inter Miami Herons. I have a ton of confidence in Javier Mascherano and this team to turn things around. You go through this as a soccer club sometimes, and you know, if adjustments need to be made, they'll be made at the appropriate time. But certainly I have faith in Mascherano and in Messi and in the Herons to turn this thing around. But certainly today, 4-1, not the best look for our Herons, but I have faith that things will turn around. And this has been the Inter Miami Radio Network. As I mentioned, we'll catch up with you guys on Wednesday, 10 p.m.